Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
All days in the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Hello there, good morning and welcome. This is AM News on Adwa Television. We're live all across the world on TV and online from digital address GA226-0733. We're also live on digital channel 37 and 38. We apologize for the late start of the news. Let's take our top stories this morning. And Deputy Minister for Mines and Natural Resources have arrested 7 illegal miners as he visits some illegal galamsey sites. Also coming up, Sonotech has launched their campaign against the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We've got details of these and many others coming up in the next 30 minutes. You might want to stay with me. Please be my guest. So again, the news is live on Facebook at Adwa Television Ghana. There you may want to join us with your thoughts and comments. Let's settle for the details now. 7 illegal scale miners, popularly known as galamsey, have been arrested following the monitoring visit by the Deputy Minister for Mines, Mr. Mriku Duka, as cops were arrested in Brim North District in the Eastern Region. And according to the minister, they will be prosecuted to serve as a deterrent for others.
The government, with the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources' efforts to combat illegal mining, otherwise known as galamsey, continues, with Deputy Minister in charge of Mines, Mr. George Mrikuduka, leading a security task force to shut down an illegal mining site in the Brim North District of the Eastern Region. Mr. Mrikuduka, who was on a supervisory tour of the Operation Halt Task Force in the Eastern Region, led the joint security team to storm the mining site and arrested 7 persons who were found engaging in illegal mining. The Deputy Minister and his entourage also decommissioned 19 chanfans and other illegal mining equipment found on the site. Mr. Duka lamented the stubbornness of illegal miners and chided them for breaking the mining laws with impunity. He warned that government's fight against illegal mining was in full swing and that the 7 suspects would be prosecuted to serve as a deterrent to others. He, however, noted that some lives have been lost at the particular mining site and that authorities had been served with several warnings to stop operating but has fallen on deaf ears. He added that, like every Ghanaian, he was concerned with the continuous degradation of forest reserves and water bodies. He averred that the crackdown on illegal mining would continue until the government and Ghanaians were satisfied with the state of water bodies. Speaking to the media, Mr. Duke said it's very worrying that Ghanaians are drinking from diverted water that has been polluted by mercury. Farmers are also complaining that their farmlands are being destroyed, he lamented. The Pra River has been diverted and polluted, and I believe it's time for all Ghanaians to come on board to help fight it. We cannot fight it alone. All hands must be on deck to fight illegal mining. I'm happy the security apparatus is helping us, and I am calling on all Ghanaians to alert and help fight this menace. These people are going to be prosecuted, and we are going to continue the onslaught undebated, he stressed. Mr. Mirikuduka was on the tour of the region to have a first-hand information of the operation of the Anti-Galamsey Task Force. On Wednesday, 21st September 2021, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Samuel Abujinapo, and his entourage equally visited River Tano, one of the many water bodies which was heavily polluted as a result of illegal mining activities.
Away from illegal mining and move to the health front, because Sonotech Medical and Diagnostic Center on 1st October 2021 launched officially this year's Breast Cancer Awareness Month campaign. The campaign, which is an annual activity undertaken to aid decrease the number of women living with breast cancer. The theme for this year was Give Hope, Save Life.
Sonotech Medical and Diagnostic Center for 3 years now have embarked on this campaign to create awareness on breast cancer being a deadly disease but yet curable. According to research, this deadly disease is not only found in women but men as well. However, women mostly suffer this disease more than men. The surge in breast cancer cases can be traced to misconceptions and misinformation being churned by some people. At the official launch of this year's Sonotech's Breast Cancer Awareness Month dubbed Give Hope, Save Lives, the head of Breast Cancer Unit at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Professor Joe Natclerge Lamte, outlined some 3 factors that are key with regards to breast cancer.
Die from the proportion than those that are. So you ask, why is that the case? 3 factors. One is that we tend to have more aggressive forms of breast cancer. Not our fault, but our cancers tend to be more aggressive. Second is that people report it. People have made reference to that already. People report it, they don't detect it early enough. Of course, that's where cancer comes. People don't come in. And because it's aggressive, if you come in, you are likely to have more advanced disease as well. The third part is the treatment. Now, the treatment has 2 arms. One, those who provide the treatment, and 2, those who receive it. For those of us who provide the treatment, I can say for sure that we have done our very best. And I can say that if you have breast cancer, you are likely to have the treatment in Ghana will be as good as in Ghana.
He lamented over people who shy away from treatment.
But the problem is that people do not come to the treatment. Even after they told that they have breast cancer, they will find reasons why they should delay. And the reasons we know, the same problem of trying to lose their breast and so on and so forth. So because of all that, because of our patients end up with rather poor outcomes.
However, he stated that misinformation about breast cancer is really costing many their lives.
So what is the basic underlying problem? We mentioned the afraid to lose your breast and so on. That is because of misinformation. Misinformation from family and friends. Misinformation from social media. And that is one of our biggest problems now. Because everybody and anybody puts anything out. And once something is written, people believe it. So we have 7 billion people in this world, everybody's writing something, everybody's believing it. And so people end up with a lot of myths and misconceptions about the cause of breast cancer. Because if you believe that it is caused by a witch, then naturally you will seek for spiritual solution. It's a matter of course. So by not understanding what causes it, the misconceptions around it, they go for all sorts of treatment. Misconceptions or myths about the treatment. People believe that once you have breast cancer, your breast will go. This is not the case. We try to save as lot of breast as possible.
The message with regards to giving hope and saving lives, he said is.
So what is the message? The message is in your faith. There is hope. And there's no need to be overcome by this hopelessness and helplessness. Because early detection is what we need. And with effective treatment, we can save the lives of most, if not almost all, of our women. Where do we all come in? We can all help to save lives.
To those who are not living with breast cancer, he advised them, saying,
The bigger group, or the biggest group, is those who are yet to have breast cancer. Unfortunately, we all fall in that group. We may say it will never happen to us. But there are many people who we started with, who said, said this for somebody.
Let's stay on the health front because following its commissioning by President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo with the task of developing a comprehensive action plan and strategy for local production of vaccines in Ghana, the Presidential Vaccine Manufacturing Committee has developed a draft roadmap and a strategy to enable local vaccine production in Ghana.
In an engagement with the Presidential Vaccine Manufacturing Committee by the Minister responsible for Information, Kojo Opon-Krumah, the Secretary to the committee, Professor William Ampofo, gave details on what the roadmap entails.
We have come up with a simple vision. We want Ghana to become self-sufficient in the production of vaccines, and we want this to meet our national needs and also, if possible, supply our fellow neighbors in the sub-region. How are we going to do this? First of all, we are going to establish local manufacturing plants. These domestic manufacturing plants will be private sector led. Government will simply facilitate the establishment of these private factories. And of course, if the products meet the quality standards, then they will be procured and used in our country, and of course exported as well. In order to have a fully self-sufficient process, we must strengthen our research, discovery, and development in Ghana.
He explained that the path to the development of vaccine is likely to take 15 years.
We know that vaccines have revolutionized our ability to improve health and save lives, as we can see from the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. We will be able to control, and in some cases, we have actually eliminated pathogens. Case in point, smallpox. And we know that many life-threatening diseases can be managed by the use of vaccines. However, the path to the development of a vaccine is complex and lengthy, and it can take up to 15 years for this. One country can produce all the inputs required to manufacture a particular vaccine. Actually, it's documented that over 280 separate inputs are required for biological materials to grow a vaccine. And if you go through the technical kits required, it's not an easy process to get the final finished product.
However, these are the typical vaccine roadmap he highlighted.
We have understood that a typical vaccine roadmap starts with 2 to 5 years exploratory. If you take clinical trials, that could take you another 2 years to determine whether this vaccine is safe. And then you need to do more work to find out if the vaccine is efficacious. So you do clinical trials, and we have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And my colleague next to me, Mimidak, who is a specialist in this, it can take you up to 10 years to go through the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 when you are developing a new vaccine. Then you have to get regulatory approval. You have to license this product. After you've done that, then you actually have to produce a large quantity. So it's called scaling up. And this process has to be consistent. You cannot change anything because you want to make the same biological molecule in several million doses.
From health, let's do some other related news. 129 graduating cadets have been commissioned into officers. The Ghana Police Service held its graduation ceremony of 50th Cadet Officers course at the National Police Training School Parade Ground.
The ceremony was graced by His Excellency President Akufo-Addo, the IGP Dr. George Akufo-Dampare, and other commanding officers. Speaking at the graduation ceremony, the president said he appreciates the concerns of Ghanaians on Ghana's security situation, but added that he is very certain that our security agencies will quickly address it.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen,
President Akufo-Addo gave assurances that the Ghana Police Service and other security agencies will deal decisively with the increasing spate of armed robberies and other violent crimes in the country.
The Constitution of the Republic states, and I quote, "The police service shall be equipped and maintained to perform its traditional role of maintaining law and order," unquote. The ultimate goal of this provision is to ensure explicitly that the ordinary citizen feels safe and can go about his or her everyday life free from the fear of crime and insecurity. The police service is further mandated by the Police Service Act of 1970, Act 350, to prevent and detect crime, apprehend offenders, and maintain the safety of persons and property. The effective execution of this mandate
Parliament for North Tongue constituency, Honorable Samuel Okujetu-Ablakwa has said His Excellency President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo owes Ghanaians an explanation regarding the decision to lease aircraft at the cost of the Ghanaian taxpayer instead of flying a Falcon, which was purchased by government. Mr. Ablakwa wondered why President will not use an aircraft bought by government that he was an integral part of the cost in 2018.
The Member of Parliament for North Tongu, Samuel Okujetu-Ablakwa, has said President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo owes Ghanaians an explanation regarding the decision to lease aircraft at a cost to the Ghanaian taxpayer instead of flying the Falcon, which was purchased by the government. Mr. Ablakwa wondered why the president will not use an aircraft bought by a government that he was an integral part of at a cost of $37,150,000 in 2008. Portions of an open letter he wrote to the president said, "You owe Ghanaians direct explanation in the true spirit of transparency and accountability as to why you prefer to lease aircraft at astonishing cost to the suffering Ghanaian taxpayer instead of flying the Falcon purchased by a government you were an integral part of at a fantastic cost of $37,150,000 in 2008. Ghanaians deserve and demand to know from why you prefer alien luxury aircraft operated by foreign crews when our celebrated Air Force professionals with unquestionable loyalty trained at significant expense to the taxpayer guarantee better security for our president, an action creating considerable disquiet within the ranks of the Ghana Air Force. Ghanaians want to know just how far you are willing to go with narcissistic personal comforts at their expense and exactly what you mean by protecting the public purse. They also want to know what it means to burden share in this period of economic hardship and what aspects of the burden you are responsible for. Many Ghanaians have been asking during your absence from Ghana if the already struggling taxpayer now has to take care of your ostentatious Arabian King-style travels while additionally bearing the cost of other presidents using our presidential jet. A good number of citizens are wondering if Ghana is not better off spending the millions being dissipated on your luxury charters on purchasing a new aircraft to meet your standards, a standard obviously way above the contemplation of predecessors from President Kufuor through Mills to Mahama. Strikingly, records available to us in Parliament reveals that you have already spent in excess of 100 million Ghana cedis on foreign travels alone. Sir, your definition
this morning, the Australian High Commissioner to Ghana, His Excellency Gregory Andrew, is urging students in deprived communities to rise above odds to ensure they have a better education, citing himself as one who was raised in a deprived community, and he still managed to climb the educational ladder, and today he's the High Commissioner of a country. Hence, it is possible for everyone despite where you're coming from. He extended this advice during a handing over ceremony of a community school project at Nima, funded by the Australian Aid.
Into
ecological friendly latrine, which is biosafe. And they didn't have water then, so we've connected them to Ghana Water Company. You can see the stand pipe there. We've changed their roofing, the upper primary. It was leaking, and the library. The roofing was leaking. We changed all the roofing there, the ceiling and everything. And the windows, the louvers were shattered. The nets, the fly screens were all shattered. So we replaced everything. And we also provided them with dustbins where they can store their refuse, 3 dustbins and 5 hand washing facilities that they can use to enhance teaching and learning in the school. You shouldn't just take it for granted. It's a support. But you also, as a beneficiary, should also own it and make sure that the operation and maintenance happens.
The Australian High Commission.
Wrap up on the Monday edition of AM News on Adoatv Television. We'll bring you updates of these stories in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, you can visit our website www.adwanewsonline.com. My name is Nanya McCollison. For me and the rest of the team, we'll see you again very soon. Please do stay with us on AM Ghana Show as we deliberate on Real Issues Broadcast Ghana. Good morning.
Suzy Ebafo ye ne CB men, CB women, CB malakyo, ena ye de CB soap nso aba. Na moment neno ye bepe se ye be kasa fa CB soap no kwan ye fa so e de yusu CB soap no. Ene hia ehun hia se onipe bi a wo Ghana ha ana asase so utumi yusu CB soap no bi. CB soap ye de ye pedicure ene manicure. Pedicure ye brea wa apply CB soap ewo unase ene unentin. Na watnasi for some minutes na wahoro ne nyina a wo rere no eye wo nase de no na na pedicure no e na afen nso se o de ye onsem na no so hohoro na rere no na e manicure kwa ye faso e de use CB soap na nkasa na me ba be kire no de we binum ho a wonsem no ayedin ama sabio ne nsa no kura ya akoakoa ebinum nsam tumi ye dendenden ma ne nsanum ni nyina paapae enu nti na Suzy Hebafo yakofa CB Herbal soap edi abase wo sa haw ni nyina bia ka wakoma to yam ukoto CB soap no bia oba udi nsuo di kan fa onsem na fede weti soap no bi obema na dos wonsem nsati nkan odi be fa onsa yam ni nyina ne onsantam ni nyina uye ne sa wi obetena se fiti 10 to 15 minutes no wa hohoro ni nyina the moment a di soap no be fa onsem a obehohoro no na so ma obetumi asan apply second soap no so bi na no so watena se for sa bre no ohohoro ana wasan rere obonso onsem be ye moton kama na ono yire ana o partner bi hia watumi de onsa fa ne honam no so ana ye kɔ bia bi na se ye chia o so watumi atie bi se bia onentin ana se opese odi CB soap no eye pedicure e wo na ase a e bia o 19 enye din onentin empaipa ya obedi kan di nsu afa onentin no na ase no na wetin CB soap no bi na odi asra onentin no na ase ni nyina se odi sra onentin no na ase ni nyina wie na opese odi si nsu mu a kwan wo ho nemu obetwen be 55 to 10 minutes time ansana odi esinsu mu ni enti eti sa ne se odi sra onentin no sisi a na odi sunsu me ba horo no nyina edubre na orere abon se enye adwuma bi amfa ma wo enti se opese odi sinsu mu after 10 minutes no na wasan de esinsu no to di sinsu no so for 10 minutes na fide ohoro a na wa rere ebeyi dead cells ni nyina ebeyi fine wo onentin ni nyina na bibia aye fine
CB Herbal soap who say sure now sure bemampo sure say you use CB Herbal soap the tree now the nasi minty sure say now I tron CB Herbal soap it works like magic we are now we are correct my whole feel it why be me when you could yak ni mem slippers in what you prefer nasi CB Herbal soap perfect And nothing a better command man say. So person now we come out. We 19 papa dear. Always need use CB soap. Eba. And you put her. Wash. Abba.
Near to subium ebia 19 no aye de denti na wo ye bra wo de asra wie na wa twen ahohoro a rere ni nyina awie no na fe de wet soap no kakra e de ato traba no so na wo de atwi 19 no ebia wo ni scriber bia wo ho onni abo bia wo ho no mo a wo betimi ati soap no kakra de ato rough cement ana abo bia so ye rough so na wo do 19 na twitwi so wo ye ne sa every week bia ye no mpemio na 19 ni nyina be fefefe na ye mre ye nsam ni 19 ni nase no ye cells a etumi nyin nti se 19 na anase onase na ye cells na etumi nyin no se enyiya na cells no wu na uhye mpaboa na heat ne kana eno do ye hwan ebeyi sent so your ban na ukru was a problem no bi your bema na wa was a problem no bi abomodin asa obenya sibi soap no bi ukoto bi ba fa nsuo di kan fa 19 no nase na fa soap no bi srasra 19 no nase ni nyina na twen be 10 to 15 minutes hohoro ni nyina na fe di pe small knife na scissors fa rere sa dead cells na wo 19 no nase ni nyina utumi yesa wi a odo pampaboa no hye no 1 month na yi ole 20 cent bia wom Suzy Heba for your drink and for whom pa ye 19 year bia ye nin shedan ko ho nemum sika wo tumi de titompa sika wo betumi atiska kese de akoto wo dem nkonwa no utie konwa no ma empempi no tumi sisa onan edi sisi nkonwa no ebinum 19 tumi ye rough ama papa ya ma omutumi de tete bedsheet timi srew bomodin na abreni abrebia be use sibi soap no bi edi aye pedicure ni manicure anase odi be yi 19 ni unase fin eni unsem fin na aboa na bibie tumi aye kama sibi soap no onipa dase ni bia wa asase so bia no betumi use ena afen so se oyo bia wa propro ye foot rot na obedi kan pe cotton o te cotton na kakra o de cotton no be bonsuo na we bie soap no so o de fafa ni boko ehuro bi beba cotton num fafa unan ni ntem no o de femu a 10 minutes per hohoro anase kona kodware nti me advice say abreni abrebia no so foot rot na be use sibi soap na use no bra wa ready anopa e bia opese wo kwakodware uye no anopa ne anwumre a wo foot rot ni nyina ebeko eye mmoa na ewom e no mu didi unan ni ntem no apropro no enye ye nantem kwa na ye apropro tumi ye nsa ntem nyina ye won krofu bi wo Ghana ha adwuma omo ye enu nti abrebia na ne nsa da nsuo mu nti no omutumi nya insantem apropro no bi sa wo so wo sa ha wo no bi amesrew unya cotton eni sibi soap no bi a ti cotton ne kakra fa bo nsuo sa wo di bo nsuo no wi a fa soap ne ni boko hro na beba cotton no no fa unsa ne ntem no mame eno so 10 minutes no wa hohoro uta ye na nopa eni anwumre bia so ha no nyina no ebe feel so na wade ho na bibia tumi aye fine
Sibi Heba soap. Amanfo agiato. Eye samra ye di hwe ye na ho edi na ho. Na me ni atronchiro akrobato. Mu na mama ya akrobato. Eti abibia me kanfo ade papa na de mama. Me anka se ma yusubi. Ma wo se ma yusubi. Enipa me na mo di Sibi Heba soap mo da e doso. Obi asem o kan bia ya sem papa e hyen kran. Se akrobato samna na mudi bedwa so no si before the bedwa eye samna papa se wo nanti wo nase wo di basa so no yi ehunira kakaka bo so na wa se akola foforo no adansi na media mawo mintimi ni anipa bia nim ento ade bone mawo because of my credibility. I'll never lie to you. Me peme man for asem na me dome man na me die menya no so me nya ready say messe no anasem de nkika bia be kaka ho ne say Sibi Heba soap nko ade me gira dia that say eye papa Toby na be say di sitie Sibi ana Ghana ma any member yet don't want it. We always thank you very much.
Yeah, the herbs and yes Sibi Heba soap. Ya wondro no bebre wo hodoma ye de pedicure ni manicure use a bra wo use ne mo no na eno mo e ma 19 na ye den by CB soap nte saa more now use CB soap no na ema o 19 no yemre fine any side effect bia
CB soap no metompa obi wo ha ono no wo mane dia oba use shampoo we ohunu so na no wo de mana wo se no ane se wo de aye nipa ne nan na wo atwia na aye fine wo bia na wo ze de wo foot bibi a massage no wo ye bi a massage na asa nti eno no ye easier emom na ye adwuma so fine me pa cho wo wati CB soap na won so hwe no bo modern na kope ba ko wo kun fi adwuma ba wo de mountain na afa ye ne na fa no bon komo wo wi a twetwuma no na wa wo be hu se na wo ko na be
me mitimi fa me pe enkanfo bibi mawo mitimi fa me pe ema wo nyi bibi ni preko pesa na Ghana ye nyina dan abi ansan me kam bi no e fa duro ana bibi ni pa yusu di kono video na ni pa bia na abiefo agiato me akrobato aka who knows tomorrow me catch will say CB herbal soup no abiefo agiato they have proved that is good for human being to use.
CB soap no pe bia to a uko drugstore pharmacy herbal shop cosmetic shop just provision stores ahodo bebiri wo Ghana hanom kura na omuton CB herbal soap no bu obetumi afre Suzy herbal fo ewo telephone numbers amede ba be ma we so ne edi kan no 0247 11 1671 ne atusumi no ye 0246 578750 near to Sumi and Saye 0240 952027 Meda Ashafonyina Ase.
Yeni Masatek, so your kunini roofing industry nim enti Saudi roofing na wadwen Asatek. Asatek wo quality long span roofing sheeter esan nail free. Trese ehia so de dadoabo mu nanso etim wodan no so a pampe amframa anahum entumi nya no hwe. Asatek quality long span roofing sheets with beautiful bright colors with anti-fading and anti-rusting properties. Trese enwe na ache na empanso enti wo ma 30-year warranty. Terms and conditions apply. Asatek quality long span roofing sheet dear. Eye matter bia, say a warehouse, school, hotel, hospital, sorry, ana say a wawufi. Use Asatek quality nail free long span roofing sheet no be. Na wo dan do be gina so na yi ne ho. Wo ye delivery services papa bia. Emfa ho ne fa kwan wo Asatek bema wo sa kan order between 3 and 5 working days. Wo VIP delivery services so a one day pe na wo sa kan. Hwehwe Asatek achiu kwan Watamakono 82 Meridian Road woni Cocoa Board Warehouse na ben Takrade Efiekuma number 9 wo ben Efiekuma Fidelity Bank no Volta region so wo wakache Tatome GN Bank nchen ho pe. Asatek, sheltering you for life.
Hello everyone, my name is Amalindate, a proud ambassador for Sonotech's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's hashtag Pinktober, hashtag Sonotech Goes Pink. Now from the 1st October to the 31st October 2021, at any of the 3 branches of Sonotech, Tema, Osu and West Hills Malls, we are gathering together to get free screening. Yes, I said it's free. And that's not all we have for you. We also have 20% off mammogram testing and 50% off ultrasound. Let's go pink from October the 1st to the 31st, 2021 at Osu, Tema, and West Hills Malls, all Sonotech branches. We are giving hope to save a life. See you there.
Order. But you're not taking your map. And that's all about order. The right, you are fire.
Malaria and tea. You are yet more bono.
What you have to feed it.
Malaria, therefore, yao. Enti awo. Ashrin the customers. When you say, Mammy, I am smart. Upper CB Malakio. I'm money buyer or the eco school. Share. Say a Janisi berry market ni malaria and tea. I want to mean.
And now Emma will be around to walk. So we have malaria test. Maybe one. And better one. And the CB Malakio. Yet you know nothing. And now can come as soon as I CB Malakio. And no way so there. And I don't grow. And yet that shit.
A drawing your ma appeal for. About a woman for. Any quada won't in fear.
Susiana, what would you with
FD Ashusha Sa a Jedi and Kratoimu Adia to Muse.
Announcements on Adoatv. Contact Adoatv for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 05092 57754 020 9494 258 or visit our marketing decks at Stepwork premises. Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
Hello, this is Dr. Josephine Nsafo from the Breast Unit Kolebu Teaching Hospital. This year also we are partnering with Sonotech Medical and Diagnostic Center. October is here again. Breast Cancer Awareness Month 2021. The message hasn't changed. Early detection and effective treatment save lives. I hope you've been doing your monthly breast self-examination throughout the year. So I'm just here to remind you that it's time to get your annual breast screening done. And for women 40 years and above, you need to do your mammogram. Breast scans are also very useful for women of all ages. And Sonotech is giving up to 50% discount this year at their Osu, West Hills, and Tema branches. Every year, the breast unit sees about 400 new cases of breast cancer, including a few men, in addition to those already living with the disease. Unfortunately, almost 70% of these are already advanced. This is because people do not come early, and a lot are trying natural, herbal, and alternative remedies which do not work. So we have a lot of unnecessary deaths. But for those who do come early with effective treatments, they have been cured, and I'm happy to say that we have a lot of breast cancer survivors with us. So remember to look for changes in your breast. A lump in your breast or your armpits, and a dimple, a rash, a sore, nipple discharge, especially when it's bloody. And remember that when breast cancer starts, it's usually not painful. Early detection is key. And with effective treatment, should you be diagnosed with breast cancer, your life will be saved. Stay safe.
CB will make up now. I'm not correct. What's your best mankasa?
That's it.
Who anyone? Oh, middle. You captures back on CB men capsules. Me see CB men capsules na make a year.
Yeah, you see men and women's capsules now. You knew the dada. And one year packaging I had a
Wow! What a packaging! CB men, any CB women capsules, no packaging is out. And you also no more any biansan wako do ben pegi.
Share a painful any about town man kwada no for. Any kwada go be fear do you. And come home.
Susanna, Ghana man be man tamasi.
Dodo Afre 0247 111671 and 0246 578 750. FDA Adi Edwin Kato Yatu.
John, who fin you? Wow, Eddie, what boy juma. I take a roofing now. Oh, you fell one casa from Asatec. Oh, now same roofing is a baby bray, nice keke. Why the catch you? Asatec roofing sheet today, and your nice keke with the board dance a chey and renache. They want to call us a hood of a fair be bray. No more free roofing sheet no dear. Who hear that will be out? Now so the board dance a hero supampe. What means which Roman send your open roofing sheet no? You tell the salmon pepe. Mama poor Asatec money there. One of my technical advice na estimate free or professional installers and so on your on-site installation. Ne boss crowd dafampa. Oh yes, quality and never da feminine. Asatec 5 days pay na musa can order. Now a year after sales service proper being so. Sheshe Asatec Watema Community 2, Meridian Road, a Benkoko Board Warehouse. Western region so Asatec Watakrade Anaji, Yeni Princeland Hotel and Edition, and a Volta region Yawo Akachi South District Assembly Kwainusuwa.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Africa, good morning, Ghana, good morning to everyone, wherever you are listening to me or watching me from, whether Facebook, whether on our website, whether via TV. I am here in it's Adoatv where we bring good things to life, and we are bringing very good things to you this morning on the AM Ghana breakfast show. Yes, I'm sitting here in the person of Julia, your lady Julia, and I'm bringing you lots of love from the weekend. My weekend was good. I learned one particular person, and that has given me so much joy this week and so much zeal to start this week. And I want to share that with you before we continue on any other thing. It's about forgiveness. I want to release the spirit of forgiveness into every person that is watching and that is listening to us this morning. What is forgiveness? Forgiveness is letting go of pain, of bitterness, of hurt, or any burden in your heart. And this morning, that is what I'm bringing to you, because that is what is making me so joyful, so free, and so energetic this morning. Now, what the advantages of forgiveness, what forgiveness does is that it heals. Forgiveness helps you to heal deep injuries that are done to us. Again, forgiveness, it makes you feel better. Look at me, I'm feeling vibrant. It does make you feel better when you let go, you shed off all that negative energy, all that pain, all that bitterness. Again, it helps you to experience joy. I don't need to speak about that. I believe that I'm just radiating that joy to you, and it gives you a better walk with whatever you believe in, whether you believe in Buddha, whoever it is. For me, I believe in God, and that forgiveness helps. I believe that God has brought me to that point of releasing forgiveness to everyone, and I have found joy this morning. It also frees you from destructive and harmful emotions, and doctors, medical practitioners will tell you that when you are angry, there are certain particular things that your body does, and then when you are happy too, there are certain particular things your body does that rather helps you. It boosts good health, good energy. So it is important that you forgive somebody, whether they deserve it or not, for your own good. I'm talking about your own good today. It also brings back good health, as I said earlier, and it helps you to grow. It helps you to forget the past, letting bygones be bygones, focus or live in the present, and then to be able to face the future, which is what we are all looking for. Again, forgiveness, remember, is never about that person. It's never about the offender. It's about you. So do it for you. Do it for you. It is for you. It's for your peace and it's for your blessing. And that is the good tidings I bear this morning. I'm begging you, whoever it is, let it go. Just let it go. Let it go for your own sake. And that is the good news I bring to you this morning. That's my word of inspiration for you this morning. We have lots and lots more in store today. So I just want you to trust me on this particular one. We'll go for a quick break. And when we come back, we'll do our newspaper headlines. We still have studio discussions on the newspaper review segment. We'll still have, there's more. So just keep still in your seat. We'll be right back after this short break.
Asatec, so your kunini roofing industry nim enti saudi roofing na wadwen Asatec. Asatec wo quality long span roofing sheeter esan nail free trese ehia saudi da doabo mu nanso etim wodan no so a pampe amframa ana ehum entumi nya no hwe. Asatec quality long span roofing sheets with beautiful bright colors with anti-fading and anti-rusting properties. Trese enwe na ache na empanso enti wo ma 30-year warranty. Terms and conditions apply. Asatec quality long span roofing sheet dear. Eya maten bia, say a warehouse, school, hotel, hospital, sorry, ana say a wawufi. Use Asatec quality nail free long span roofing sheet no be. Now what dando be jinaso na yino ho. Your delivery services papa bia. Enfa honde for kwa Asatec bema wasaka order between 3 and 5 working days. Our VIP delivery services so one day pet na Osaka. Hwehwe Asatec achiu kwan Watama Community 2 Meridian Road woni Cocoa Board Warehouse na ben Takrade Efiekuma number 9 wo ben Efiekuma Fidelity Bank no Volta Region so wo wakache Tatome GN Bank and Chen Hope. Asatec, sheltering you for life.
Hello everyone, my name is Adoatv, a proud ambassador for Sonotec's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's hashtag Pinktober, hashtag Sonotec Goes Pink. Now from the 1st October to the 31st October 2021, at any of the 3 branches of Sonotec, Tema, Osu and West Hills Malls, we are gathering together to get free screening. Yes, I said it's free. And that's not all we have for you. We also have 20% off mammogram testing and 50% off ultrasound. Let's go pink from October the 1st to the 31st, 2021 at Osu, Tema and West Hills Mall, all Sonotec branches. We are giving hope to save a life. See you there.
Malaria anti abayiwa yejuma bono malaria therefore yao enti awo ahire ne customers na wahunu se maami aye smart apesibi malakio ama ne ba ya odi ko school she se aduane si berry market chi ani malaria nti a ontimi ni
onia entina ho ema we mu biara to wo se wo ye malaria test na ebi wo mu a edra bedi wa ene sibi malagio ye dinu na ne hahama na akeka bom asone so aye sibi malagio edra wo so de enya no kra o aye tata she
edra yi nyema apemfo abate a wo ma wo manufo ene nkoda wo ni mfie dumie
Suziana, wow, how would you win here?
FD Ashosha Sa Ejedi Nkrato Imu Adia to Muse Eye.
Announcements on Adoatv. Contact Adoatv for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 050-92-57754, 020-9494-258, or visit our marketing decks at Stepwork premises. Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
Hello, this is Dr. Josephine Safo from the Breast Unit Kolebu Teaching Hospital. This year also we are partnering with Sonotech Medical and Diagnostic Center. October is here again. Breast Cancer Awareness Month 2021. The message hasn't changed. Early detection and effective treatment save lives. I hope you've been doing your monthly breast self-examination throughout the year. So I'm just here to remind you that it's time to get your annual breast screening done. And for women 40 years and above, you need to do your mammogram. Breast scans are also very useful for women of all ages. And Sonotech is giving up to 50% discount this year at their Osu, West Hills, and Tema branches. Every year, the breast unit sees about 400 new cases of breast cancer, including a few men, in addition to those already living with the disease. Unfortunately, almost 70% of these are already advanced. This is because people do not come early, and a lot are trying natural, herbal, and alternative remedies which do not work. So we have a lot of unnecessary deaths. But for those who do come early with effective treatments, they have been cured, and I'm happy to say that we have a lot of breast cancer survivors with us. So remember to look for changes in your breast, a lump in your breast or your armpits, and a dimple, a rash, a sore, nipple discharge, especially when it's bloody. And remember that when breast cancer starts, it's usually not painful. Early detection is key, and with effective treatment, should you be diagnosed with breast cancer, your life will be saved. Stay safe.
Welcome back. If you have been waiting for us, you did well, because we are here to bring you the headlines, the newspaper major headlines of our various newspapers right here. But I'm not going to do this alone as usual. I have one very gallant man here. He's in the person of Mr. Isaac Otu.
Lady
Hello.
Julia, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm blessed and highly favored, and I'm glad you are doing your formal look still with a touch
of course.
Of
Ghana. How was your weekend too?
My weekend was great.
We thank God.
What about you?
Except for some cuts I had to battle with, I think it was better.
But knowing you, I know you are victorious. Just as we're going to be in a few moments when we do our newspaper headlines, I'm taking on Truth and Accuracy every day. The issue number 21709, that's the daily graphic. Today is Monday, 4th of October 2021, and the big story here says Grain Authority in the offing. Grain Authority in the offing seeks to address perennial food price hikes. Do I have that correct? Okay, seeks to address perennial food price hikes. I'm wondering who is seeking. Okay, so MOFA, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, is working on the establishment of a grain development authority. Okay, grain development authority to address current food price fluctuations in the country. Okay, so it seems this is to address the prices. I thought it was going to be more of how to get more, more grain, more food to address the shortage. All right, but this is addressing pricing. According to the sector minister, Dr. Owusu Efiri-Akoto, the expectation was that the authority should be in place by the first quarter of 2022. Explaining, the story continues on page 3. He explaining, making a submission to Parliament and then go to the cabinet for the creation of a grain development authority. Speaking about complaints over food price hikes in an interview, he said 80,000 capacity warehouses had been handed over to him, and his belief was that such an authority could raise funds from the market to be able to stock the warehouses during the harvesting seasons. He said the stocked food could be dispersed to stakeholders such as poultry farmers and other processes when prices hit their peak. Dr. Akoto was hopeful that such a step would help stabilize the huge differences in prices in the year, describing it as the only solution to the current food price fluctuations in the country. Okay, then again, presidential term limit appropriate. The presidential term limit described as appropriate by our President Akufo-Addo. And I believe this was on his interview on one of the radio stations in the Ashanti region. The story is on page 16. So I'm jumping to page 16. The President Nana Akufo-Addo. I always get The President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has indicated that he is in favor of the current existing presidential term limits. He said this was not only appropriate for the country's nascent democracy, but that it also injected fresh ideas into the governance system of the country. It promotes stability of our democracy. Speaking personally, I support the idea of term limits for presidents. It prevents abuse of office and coup d'etats, he said. In an interview with Kumasi-based Ash with double H FM last Saturday as part of his tour of the Ashanti region, President Akufo-Addo said the country had been enjoying political stability since 1992 because the people had the opportunity every 4 years to use the ballot box to decide whether to change a government or maintain it in office. So I think by this our president is telling us that when it is his turn, he will. Yes, so there's no reason for coup d'etat. Just hold your horses.
Not at all.
Yes, democracy will prevail. NDC doesn't want IPAC functions changed. That's coming from Asiedu Inketia. That story also that story also continues on page 16. I will give you a little gist on that. The National Democratic Congress NDC does not seek to change the functions of the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, IPAC, into a statutory body. The General Secretary of the party, Mr. Johnson Asiedu Inketia, has said. Rather, he said the party's position was that the rules of engagement between IPAC and the Electoral Commission should be more structured. He explained that the NDC's proposed legislation sought to guide the formulation of the IPAC and determine who attended its meetings and how inputs made at such meetings would be adopted as a final consensus of the committee to make it more effective. I find no bad issues with that, but maybe if you read more, you have your buts or your ons for them, so you can continue.
I think today the daily graphic newspaper has
is heavy, very heavy.
Of that
I didn't even check, but
I think today
last page is 87.
Wow.
So back page 88. Yes, I know it's usually heavy on Mondays, but today is
more
heavy. Yeah.
I think I will start off with you are not done, right? Sorry.
All right, I don't worry. I get your impatience. Don't worry, I understand. We'll daily guide on you. Yeah.
As usual.
Let's look at page 5 of the Global Outlook. It says that there is a blast in Afghanistan which kills 2 civilians near the Kabul mosque, and also in US Washington we find thousands march to support abortion rights. That was on the 3rd of October. Again in Africa we find support for Guinea junta to peacefully transfer power, and that's from Dr. Enchidanso. His advice to ECOWAS to support Guinea junta to peacefully transfer power. Again, trial begins in the biggest scandal, corruption scandal to have hit Mozambique. The trial begins on September 3rd. We have President hints of 2 NPP presidential aspirants, and that's for concerns about what is going on in NPP. On the middle page spread, we have new German ambassador taking Ghana-Germany relations higher. The new German ambassador there, he's Mr. Daniel Krul or Krau. That's the German ambassador to Ghana, presenting his letter of credence to the president at the Jubilee House. There are pictures there, so grab a copy of the Daily Graphic. The back page says, fire officer dies in rescue operation. That's some of the risk, yes. And in this parts of the world, we usually don't get to hear much of this kind of news, but I know that it happens a lot, yes, in Western countries. We also have on the back page, speeding vehicle kills woman and grandson at Amanfro. Speeding
Wow.
And a woman, the grandson. Okay, let me take a little on that. The woman aged 70 and her grandchild were last Saturday night, knocked down and killed by a speeding vehicle between English Amanfro in the Gas South municipality and Kaswa in the Wutusenya East municipality in the central region. They were knocked down around 8 p.m. by a speeding Benz Sprinter.
Oh.
Hey. So there's more information on that from witnesses, and then also about street lights.
I just wanted to touch on that I know for sure street light will contribute.
Absence of
street
lights.
Because if you know the place very well, you would know that the whole place is in total darkness at night, and that will contribute.
Yeah. So if you're driving at night and the place is not blessed with street lights, then I think it will be good that you slow down a little. And I always remember this sticker I saw when I was young at the back of a pastor's car, and it was the inscription was "Kill the speed, not that child." So kill the speed, not that person, not that grandma, not that child. We never know who that person would be in future. But that's how I wrap up, or rather on a sad note, for the daily graphic.
Let's head to the newsroom of the Daily Guard, which says it's Ghana's favorite newspaper. The Daily Guard, Ghana's favorite newspaper. And the screaming headline we have here is ex-tour boss charged in US over 2.5 million US dollar bribe. Ex-tour boss charged in US over 2.5 million US dollar bribe. And his picture we have here, Asante K. Beku. Asante K. Beku, if you will recall, sometime in 2020, he resigned following reports of him facilitating some bribes to government officials and some members of parliament after a power agreement deal was signed, and as we speak we are being told that he's being charged in USA over that bribe allegations. You may want to have more on that. Let me just run you through a bit of that. So the Tema Oil Refinery boss Asante Quebec, who resigned in 2020, right, following reports in the United States that he facilitated the payment of bribe to government officials and some members of parliament during an emergency power contract agreement under the Mahama-led NDC administration, has been charged. The U.S. securities regulator last Monday charged Mr. Beck, a former banker at the subsidiary of a U.S. bank, for arranging at least $2.5 million bribe to be paid to Ghana government officials to gain approval for a client's power plant projects. You would want to have more on that into detail, so kindly grab a copy of the Daily Guard newspaper and you would do just that. I believe in presidential term limit. I think Lady Julia had already touched on that, so I wouldn't go much into it. Don't be armchair leader, Otunfo. Don't be armchair leader. I don't know who Otunfo was sounding this caution or was advising him, but I could see President Ekufado's picture here, standing just in front of Otunfo Tutu, and it says President Ekufado greeting Otunfo Tutu the second at Menchia. So this advice is to President Ekufu-Addo from His Royal Majesty Otunfo Osei Tutu. So Asantehene Otunfo Osei Tutu the second has cancelled President Ekufu-Addo to always seek independent verification of updates on progress of projects being supervised by his appointees. It is good for the president to visit the project himself. If you listen to reports from the people, they will always deliver the positive. But if you visit the projects, you will see the negative and make necessary changes, he said. You may want to have more on that. Kindly grab yourself a copy of the Daily Guard newspaper. Now to the center spread of the newspaper. I found one interesting story here. We've not ended registration yet, and this is coming from the NPP. So those of you who would want to join the New Patriotic Party and become party members with card bearing, then you would have to register with them. And as we speak, the General Secretary, John Boedu, not Johnson Eseedunketia, John Boedu says the party hasn't ended its registration yet. So you could also pick a form and register if you want to join the New Patriotic Party. 1D1F revises Daco Farms. 1D1F revises Daco Farms. So for those who were born in the 1999, 1998, like the Selassie and the likes, wouldn't know much about the Daco Farms because it stopped functioning for about decades now. So those in the those in their 25 to 30, I believe, would know about this. When we talk about poultry farm in this country, it was Daco Farms, but it stopped operating for about decades now. And kind Ketsi 1D1F, it has been revamped and revived. So as we speak, we are being told it will soon be producing about 100,000 chickens to KFC. Yeah, so these tells KFC has been importing the chickens we've been chewing. And we are only hoping that it pans out so
We've
well.
been chewing.
You've been chewing. Okay. So I think that would do for the Daily Guard newspaper. And Ghana Association of Writers pays tribute to Nana Kwame and Pedu. It was just as we were informed last week of his demise.
And also the demise of Nana Brenya, but I'm not hearing so much
about him,
I'm
the
wondering,
actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I've heard his daughter speaking about his death, though, but it's not being captured in the media yet.
Are you done with that?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay. The next newspaper is going to be done by Reginald. Sorry.
Right.
Reginald wants to rest. We refuse to let him rest. So he's going to join us wherever he is. He's in South Africa, but he's still going to do the newspaper review by every authority in me. I order you to appear. Reginald, good morning.
Well, Julia, good morning.
Good morning.
You for having me. You people will not let me rest.
Yes, I'm very happy I could summon you here like this.
Just like that.
Where in South Africa are you?
I'm always happy to be on AM Ghana. And good morning to all of you from South Africa. Good morning to our viewers from South Africa. I've missed you guys, and I must say that it's a fine weather, and I wish that you guys were here to experience what it is like actually. Anyways, we'll bring the experience to Ghana so you know what it feels like.
we don't want vicarious experience. We want to experience it ourselves. So when you come, we'll go. We are waiting for you.
Exactly.
All right. So with some newspaper headlines done, let me join you by doing the Chronicle newspaper.
Okay.
With Cizwe as always the spear of the nation. Now it says here that Corporal Agatha Nothing was killed over business that went bad. Well, I think that this is a question that is being asked, and I believe that the police in Ghana are up to it and doing what is necessary to ensure that whoever has been killed, whatever situations led to her death is brought to light. Now, in some other stories, NPP polling station registration still ongoing, says John Buedu. And another story here, Dampare has vindicated me, says Kufuadu. Now, if you guys have a physical paper over there, can you quickly do a reading to this one so that we abreast ourselves with what the details are like? Just some 2 paragraphs.
Okay. All right. So I'll do the 2 paragraphs for you.
Right.
It says the acting Inspector General of Police, that's the IGP, Dr. George Ekufo Dampare, has justified his being chosen to head the Ghana Police Service. The President Nana Dankwa Addo Akufo-Addo has revealed. Okay, President Akufo-Addo has therefore assured the nation that Dr. Dampare would soon be confirmed as the 23rd IGP when the required processes are exhausted. According to the president, the government supports the action.
I think it's enough there. Julia, thank you very much. So, you know, since his nomination or appointment as acting IGP, he has done several strides for the nation, especially with their horses in policing, amongst other things. I heard Dampare even went ahead to call some journalists personally when they had some issues, and I think that this is a way to go. He's doing good, he's doing well, and I think it is high time the president goes ahead to make him the substantive IGP, and we will be very, very happy. But to Dr. Dampare, this shouldn't be just a show, you know, that is put on the front. We should see typical policing and actual policing with his work, and together we'll all be happy and glad as a country. Because when you speak about security, all right, you come to a place like Sanson in Johannesburg, where we are, and you realize that there are security and city guards each morning that are guarding and manning the place. and ensuring that everything is up and doing, cameras all around. And I think that we're also doing the same thing in Ghana. And I think Dampari has done some good job there. But let's move away from that and go on to the next headline on the Chronicle newspaper. Akufo-Addo speaks on presidential term limits. Coup d'etats can be avoided if, and there are hidden details there. Guys, what are you thinking about this?
Well, I think I even read an excerpt earlier on it, and he's saying that he supports the terms of office, as in 4 years. After 4 years, you do get to
Run
that is
again
yes, run
for two
again if
terms
you
and
for 2 terms, and
then it
after that
ends.
he would step down. He would. So he supports it, and he's saying that if we all, that is African countries, would support this idea, then it fosters democracy,
Right.
and then it would avoid coup d'etats. Yes.
But do you guys think that sincerely we have gotten to a point where we need to reconsider our presidential term limits? Isaac Osu.
It's very necessary to pay attention to that. I mean, it's a democracy, and when you are being given this term in office to implement strategies and implement policies to help build the nation or the country, it's about time you also step aside for some other person to take over, and let's see what that other person too would be able to provide or put on the table for the benefit and the progress of that particular country. So it's very necessary ECOWAS consider this and put this into consideration.
Well, very well. I think that at the end of it all, we all want peace to prevail.
Yes.
If it must be done, it must be done the right way.
Done well.
Very well. No, done well is somebody's bride. I don't want to advertise for anybody else. Cyril is right here. He may charge me.
Okay, so
now, in the meantime, I can't go to the back page of the Chronicle newspaper, certainly, because I'm using digital media.
Okay.
And Isaac, if you would do me the honors, can we take the Bible quotation from the Chronicle newspaper for today?
I think Lady Julia has the Chronicle
Okay,
newspaper.
since
Let's go there.
2 Timothy 2:4. It says, no one serving as a soldier gets entangled in civilian affairs, but rather tries to please his commanding officer. No one serving as a soldier gets entangled in civilian affairs, but rather tries to please his commanding officer. And I think this is coming from the...
We have issues about the president's appointment of an IGP. And when the IGP is appointed, per the quotation that you have just read, it means that he is not expected to meddle in civilian activities, but work to please his master. Now, if his master is somebody who puts the will of the people at heart, then certainly we will see that in the manifestation of the good jobs of the appointed security executive or personnel. And so we are seeing some of these things in Dampari's activities so far. And if Nana Addo himself says that Dampari has vindicated him, then we can say that both of them are in line with ensuring security in Ghana.
Well noted. Also the story of Corporal Agatha Nabim also falls into this trap of a verse, Bible quotation. Because reading further on the story, I learned she did what she was asked to refrain from. She was chasing somebody who had allegedly duped in Asterix there. And she was asked to actually shun away, to hold on, but she still went ahead and pursued. And that resulted in her demise as well. So I think that also fits into this Bible catch. Yeah.
Very well, very well. So I guess that it is lesson enough to hope those who are in there and those who are yet to come into the security services. So I guess that sums it for the front page of the Chronicle newspaper. And that's all I have here.
Okay. So, Michael, I think you do your Ghanaian
I should
Times.
go ahead with my. All right. So let's set the Ghanaian Times newsroom, which says it is the most authoritative newspaper, the Ghanaian Times newspaper, most authoritative newspaper. And the big one we have here is Registrar General on War Path the Registrar General on Warpath. We have her picture here, Mrs. Jemima Owari. And 100,000 doormat coins to go as maiden cleanup exercise to delete names from database begins. I would want to just give you a bit of that, but that's on page 17. You can find that on page 17. The Registrar General's Department is set to delete the names of more than 100,000 dormant companies from its database in its maiden cleanup exercise to ensure a credible and updates register of companies. Okay, so I think this was announced sometime in September that beginning October 1, this exercise will kick off, and that is what we've been notified by the Ghanaian Times newspaper. So it's very prudent that if you're a company and you don't find your name registered on the Registrar General's list, you do well to do so before you get your database deleted from them. The exercise begins this month with 3,100 companies. The first batch of companies registered since 2011 but had failed to company with a directive to file their annual returns or update their records. So since 2011, these companies were registered but have failed to pay it or comply with their annual returns or update their records with the Registrar General. And these companies we are talking about are about 3,100. They are beginning with a statement issued in Accra yesterday by the Registrar General, Mrs. Jemima Owari, says the companies include both public and private companies. So it's not just one sector, but both public and private companies limited by shares, public private companies limited by guarantees such as associations, fan clubs, including churches. Yes, including churches, private and limited companies and external companies. You may want to find out more on that to know if you fall within these companies to have their names deleted from the database of the Registrar General's Department. Kindly grab a copy of the Ghanaian Times newspaper, and I think you would have more on that. WASI students cautioned against destruction of school properties, and this is coming from the GES. We have Professor Kwesi Opoku Amankwa's picture here. So I'm very sure they are ending their exams very soon, Friday, October 8th, and they are being cautioned against vandalizing school properties because it happens most times in the various schools whenever they are done with their paper, especially in the SHS, and you find even in the boarding house it is just worse because these seniors will come back to the dormitories and we know what happens to the juniors. There is more to life. Completing your WASI education doesn't mean you've arrived in life. That is just a tip of the iceberg.
If you know what is ahead of you,
you have more ahead of you. So it's very important when you are done with your exams and you would want to leave, kindly pack your things and leave. No vandalizing of school properties, no molesting, no assaulting of juniors and the likes. And this is a caution from the GES to all candidates who are completing their exams on Friday, October 8th. So the management of the Ghana Education Service has cautioned final year students writing the West African Senior School Certificate examination to desist from unruling acts that have the potential to tarnish the image of their schools and run them into trouble. The caution comes in the wake of signal picked up by the service from some schools, which indicated that some of the students writing their final examination have started vandalizing school properties. Wow. As well as harassing some of their juniors in Form 1 and 2. Well, I said it. Already, there are indications that some first-year students in the number of schools have run from their schools for fear of being harassed by their seniors after their final paper. Oh, that's bad. So just like we are saying, that there is more to it. The fact that you've completed SHS, you've written your WASI, doesn't mean you've arrived in life. You don't even know which grades you are going to gain to determine whether you are going to continue your education to the tertiary level for you to be vandalizing school properties. Please desist from that. If you have any intention of doing that, then my advice to you is to ensure that you desist from that. It wouldn't help you. President Akufo-Addo urges ECOWAS to outlaw third term, but I think we've stressed so much on that. National Cathedral will see light of the day. National Cathedral will see light of day, and this is coming from President Akufo-Addo. President Akufo-Addo has stated that the National Cathedral project will definitely see the light of the day, whether by hook or crook. It will see the light of the day against anti-National Cathedral for Ninada. But that is what the building of the the building of the cathedral is in fulfillment of a pledge the president made to God before winning the 2016 election. As part of effort to redeem the promise, the president or the government has demolished the houses of judges located on the proposed site for the construction of the National Cathedral at Rich in Accra. The 5,000-seater auditorium cathedral project would also bequeath to the country a gracious national park for all Ghanaians, bring new skills, technology, and also jobs to the country, and would act as a beacon to national, regional, and international tourists. The cathedral is expected to be officially opened on March 6, 2024. Let me just do one more, and I think that would do for the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Executive of UTAC sworn a new executive of the University Teachers Association have so it was during this swearing-in ceremony that it was notified that it's likely there would be another teacher strike, university teachers strike, because the negotiations they had with the government sometime last month or two hasn't been fulfilled.
I think
it hasn't yielded
8th October. Yes, that's what they said.
It hasn't yielded any positive results yet, so it's likely they would bounce back and strike
on
again.
The 8th, Friday.
Yeah. We are only hoping that governments will do something about this before the unfortunate happens. I think that would do for the Guardian Times newspaper.
You have one more?
The Daily Statesman.
Oh, okay. So before you do the Daily Statesman, I have my last paper, but Reginald, hello? Reginald, have you left us already? Hello, Reginald.
Julia, I'm still here with you.
That's good, because I'm giving you the new crusading guide as well.
Thank you very much, and I'm happy to do the new crusading guide from here. Now, the new crusading guide today has it that GREPA to host ARCE Expo 21. So if you want to put those initials into some, if you say GREPA to host ARCE or ACE Expo 21.
Okay.
That's on the front page of the new crusading guide. Now, MPP polling station membership registration still ongoing, says John Boedu. And another story here, NADMO Director General attends International Civil Defense Conference in Lome. Now, this is a big story. Okay, before the big story, John Kumar charges youth to create jobs and wealth for Ghana. The story is on pages 3 and 10 of the new crusading guide. Now, this is a big story. We don't need a coup to change precedents in Ghana, says Akufo-Addo. Definitely, we do not need a coup. And like I said, if we need to make any adjustments in the presidential terms, we definitely need to go by the books, get into a referendum, hear the voice of the people, and adjust accordingly. But for me, I think that a 2-time 4-year term is good enough. And if any president has anything to do at all, he can execute that in 4 to 8 years if he so wishes. That's it for the new crusading guide anyways. Thank you, Julia, for this opportunity.
You are welcome. Always. Okay, Reggie, can you call for a break for us?
All right, Julia. So let me take you guys on a break. I'm happy to do this once more. So
I'm using my
You're
powers.
watching me live from Hotel Sky here in Sandton, Johannesburg, in the Gauteng province, the smallest province actually in South Africa. Now, when we come back, I'll tell you more. Do stay tuned and don't change the dial. You're watching AM Ghana.
Asatec so we kunini roofing industry nim enti saudi roofing na wadwena Asatec. Asatec wo quality long span roofing sheet esan nail free trese ehia so de dadoabo mu nanso etimu dan no so a pampe amframa anahum entumi nya no hwe. Asatec quality long span roofing sheets with beautiful bright colors with anti-fading and anti-rusting properties. Trese enwe na ache na empanso enti wo ma 30-year warranty. Terms and conditions apply. Asatec quality long span roofing sheet die eye madan bia say a warehouse, school, hotel, hospital, sorry, ana say a wawufi. Use Asatec quality nail free long span roofing sheet no bi na wo dan do be gina so na yi ne ho. Your delivery services papa bia emfa ho ne fa kwan wo Asatec bema wo sakan order between 3 and 5 working days. Wo VIP delivery services so a 1 day pe na wo sakan. Hwehwe Asatec achi kwan Watermakono 82 Meridian Road woni Cocoa Board Warehouse na ben Takrade Efiekuma number 9 wo ben Efiekuma Fidelity Bank no Volta region so wo Akache Tatome GN Bank enchen ho pe. Asatec, sheltering you for life.
Hello everyone, my name is Adoatv, a proud ambassador for Sonotec's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's hashtag Pinktober, hashtag Sonotec Goes Pink. Now from the 1st October to the 31st October 2021, at any of the 3 branches of Sonotec, Tema, Osu and West Hills Malls, we are gathering together to get free screening. Yes, I said it's free. And that's not all we have for you. We also have 20% off mammogram testing and 50% off ultrasound. Let's go pink from October the 1st to the 31st, 2021 at Osu, Tema, and West Hills Mall, all Sonotec branches. We are giving hope to save a life. See you there.
Malaria nti abayi wa yedwuma bono. Malaria therefore ya o. Enti awo ahire ne customers ni. Wa hu ne se maami aye smart. Apa CB Malakio amma ne baya odi ko school. She se aduane si berry market chi ani malaria nti a onti mi ni.
Onia and na ho ema we no biara to wo. So we malaria test. Maybe we want a better one and the CB Malakio. Yedinuna, Nehama, and now kick out from a son so I CB Malakio. And no way so dear, and I don't grow. I yet tata shit.
A drawing your ma appeal for about a woman for any quada won't in fear do.
Susiana, what would you with
FD Ashusha Sa a JD and Kratoimu Adia to Muse.
Announcements on Adoatv. Contact Adoatv for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 050-92-57754, 020-9494-258, or visit our marketing desk at Step Work Premises. Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
CB makeups now. I'm correct. What's your best mankasa?
That's it.
Who anyone? Oh, middle. You captures back on CB makeups. Missy CB makeups and I make a year.
Yeah, you see men and women's capsules now. You knew the data and 1 year packaging. I end of
Wow, what a packaging! CB men, any CB women capsules, no packaging is out. And you also no mood any biansan wako do pegi.
Share a painful any about town man kwada no for. Any kwada won di fie do ye.
Susanna, Ghana Money Memman Tamasi.
Dodo Afre 0247 111671 and 0246 578 750. FDA Adi Edredin Katoyatu.
Hello, this is Dr. Josephine Nsafo from the Breast Unit Kolebu Teaching Hospital. This year also we are partnering with Sonotech Medical and Diagnostic Center. October is here again. Breast Cancer Awareness Month 2021. The message hasn't changed. Early detection and effective treatment save lives. I hope you've been doing your monthly breast self-examination throughout the year. So I'm just here to remind you that it's time to get your annual breast screening done. And for women 40 years and above, you need to do your mammogram. Breast scans are also very useful for women of all ages. And Sonotech is giving up to 50% discount this year at their Osu, West Hills, and Tema branches. Every year, the breast unit sees about 400 new cases of breast cancer, including a few men, in addition to those already living with the disease. Unfortunately, almost 70% of these are already advanced. This is because people do not come early, and a lot are trying natural, herbal, and alternative remedies which do not work. So we have a lot of unnecessary deaths. But for those who do come early with effective treatments, they have been cured, and I'm happy to say that we have a lot of breast cancer survivors with us. So remember to look for changes in your breast, a lump in your breast or your armpits, and a dimple, a rash, a sore, nipple discharge, especially when it's bloody. And remember that when breast cancer starts, it's usually not painful. Early detection is key, and with effective treatment, should you be diagnosed with breast cancer, your life will be saved. Stay safe.
John, wo fi nyinyo. Wow, ebe ye fe, edi wabwe juma. I check roofing na, o ye fe wankasa from Asatek. Oh, na same roofing sheets aba bebre nice keke. Why na catch you? Asatek roofing sheet die, enye nice keke o. With the board dance wa eche yie, enwe na che. Na won colors ahodo fe bebre. No mo ne free roofing sheet no die. Wo nya dad wa bia o. Na so the board dance wa ejire so pampe. Utumi so kire mo se ne ope roofing sheet no. Ye twa de sama pepepe. Mama po Asatek money there. One ma technical advice na estimate free or professional installers nso a your on-site installation. Ne boss kura da pa. Oh yes, quality ne bo da feminine. Asatek 5 days pay na wonsa kan order na wo ye after sales service papa bi nso. Hwehwe Asatek Watema Community 2, Meridian Road, Ebenkoko Board Warehouse, Western Region. So Asatek Takrade Anaji, ye ne Princeland Hotel and di hwene mu. And Volta Region ye wo Akachi South District Assembly kwan so ha.
Hello, this is Dr. Josephine Nsafo from the Breast Unit Kolebu Teaching Hospital. This year also we are partnering with Sonotech Medical and Diagnostic Center. October is here again. Breast Cancer Awareness Month 2021. The message hasn't changed. Early detection and effective treatment save lives. I hope you've been doing your monthly breast self-examination throughout the year. So I'm just here to remind you that it's time to get your annual breast screening done. And for women 40 years and above, you need to do your mammogram. Breast scans are also very useful for women of all ages. And Sonotech is giving up to 50% discount this year at their Osu, West Hills, and Tema branches. Every year, the breast unit sees about 400 new cases of breast cancer, including a few men, in addition to those already living with the disease. Unfortunately, almost 70% of these are already advanced. This is because people do not come early, and a lot are trying natural, herbal, and alternative remedies which do not work. So we have a lot of unnecessary deaths. But for those who do come early with effective treatments, they have been cured, and I'm happy to say that we have a lot of breast cancer survivors with us. So remember to look for changes in your breast, a lump in your breast or your armpit, and a dimple, a rash, a sore, nipple discharge, especially when it's bloody. And remember that when breast cancer starts, it's usually not painful. Early detection is key, and with effective treatment, should you be diagnosed with breast cancer, your life will be saved. Stay safe.
Yeni Masatek, so your kunini or roofing industry nim, enti, Saudi roofina, now what Asatek. Asatek will quality long span roofing sheeter, a sign nail free. Tresse, a here, so did a dwabomu, now so a team would down the soa. Pampe, Alframa, and a whom and to me. Asatek quality long span roofing sheets with beautiful bright colors with anti-fading and anti-rusting properties. Tresse, every nache name panso, enti, warmer 30-year warranty. Terms and conditions apply. Asatek quality long span roofing sheet dear. Ayama debia, say a warehouse, school, hotel, hospital, sorry, and now say a wawufi. Use Asatek quality nail free long span roofing sheet no be. Now what dando be jinaso na yinho. Your delivery services papa bia and for wonderful kwa Asatek Bema was can order between 3 and 5 working days. Our VIP delivery services so one day pet na Osaka. Prepare Asatek a chill kwai Watama 22 Meridian Road when you board warehouse na paying Takrade Efiokuma number 9 what pay Efiokuma Fidelity Bank no Voter region so or Wakache Tatome GN Bank and Chenhope. Asatek sheltering you for life.
Water, but when I get your mouth, and that's all I bet order. You are fired.
Malaria and tea. Papa, you are yet my bono.
What you have to feed it.
Malaria, therefore, yao. Enti awo, hashine customers. Wahune se mami ya smart. Ape sibi malakyo. Amma ne baya odiko school. She, se eduani si berry market chie ni malaria and tea. Onti mini.
And now Emma will be around to walk. So we have malaria test. Maybe one. And better and the CB malagio. Yedinuna, Nehama, and now Kikabom Asoneso, I CB malagio. And no one so there. And I don't grow. And yet that shit.
A drawing near my appeal for about a woman for any quada one in feed.
Susiana, what would you with
FD Ashusha Sa a Jedi and Kratoimu Adia to Musa.
Announcements on Adoatv. Contact Adoatv for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 05092 57754 020 9494 258 or visit our marketing decks at Stepwork premises. Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
Hello everyone, my name is Adoatv, a proud ambassador for Sonotech's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's hashtag Pinktober, hashtag Sonotech Goes Pink. Now from the 1st October to the 31st of October 2021, at any of the 3 branches of Sonotech, Tema, Osu and West Hills Malls, we are gathering together to get free screening. Yes, I said it's free. And that's not all we have for you. We also have 20% off mammogram testing and 50% off ultrasound. Let's go pink from October the 1st to the 31st, 2021 at Osu, Tema, and West Hills Mall, all Sonotech branches. We are giving hope to save a life. See you there.
Yeni Masatek, so your kunini roofing industry nim, enti, Saudi roofina, now what Asatek. Asatek will quality long span roofing sheeter, a sign nail free. Tresse, a here, so did a dwabomu, now so a team would down the soa. Pampe, Alframa, and a whom and to me. Asatek quality long span roofing sheets with beautiful bright colors with anti-fading and anti-rusting properties. Tresse, every nache name panso, enti, warmer 30-year warranty. Terms and conditions apply. Asatek quality long span roofing sheet dear. Ayama debia, say a warehouse, school, hotel, hospital, sorry, and now say a wawufi. Use Asatek quality nail free long span roofing sheet to be. Now what done to be jinaso, na yino. Where delivery services Papa Bia and for wonderful war Asatek Bema was can order between 3 and 5 working days. Or VIP delivery services as well. One day pet now Osaka. Prepare Asatek a chill quine Watama 22 Meridian Road when you could go board warehouse na paying Takrade if you kuma number 9 or pay if you kuma Fidelity Bank no Voter Regional so or Wakache Tatome JN Bank and Chenhope Asatek sheltering you for life.
CB makeup now. I'm a go correct. Why your best mankasa? That's it. You want oh, middle. You captures about one CB makeup sauce. You see, CB makeup sauce and make a year.
Yeah, you see men and women's capsules now. You knew the dada. And 1 year packaging I had the
wow! What a packaging! CB men, any CB women capsules, no packaging is out. And you also no mood any bianza no akodo when pegi.
Share a painful any about town man kwada no for. Any kwada won di fie du and come home.
Susanna, Ghana man man tamase.
Dodo Afre 0247 111671 and 0246 578 750.
FDA aje edwedin ka so yato.
Hello, this is Dr. Josephine Safo from the Breast Unit Kolebu Teaching Hospital. This year also we are partnering with Sonotech Medical and Diagnostic Center. October is here again. Breast Cancer Awareness Month 2021. The message hasn't changed. Early detection and effective treatment save lives. I hope you've been doing your monthly breast self-examination throughout the year. So I'm just here to remind you that it's time to get your annual breast screening.
Welcome back from that rather long break. But thank you for staying tuned. We're moving on to the next segment. That's the discussion, newspaper review discussion segment. And I'm not here alone, of course. I can't do this alone. But I'm here with the NPP and NDC communication members. So I just want to quickly just go, because of time, we just want to quickly introduce them. So to my direct right, I have the man in black. He says he has his reasons for being in black. So that's Mr. Adoatv. Mr. Adoatv, good morning.
Good morning.
And I hope you're doing well. Health.
Okay, health, I'm well.
I have to be specific.
Yes, it's good.
It's very good.
I'm okay.
We thank God for your life.
Yeah, but you can never be well health-wise if your heart is not at peace.
If your heart is not at
So
Hmm.
I'm well, but not well. But let's manage.
So I
have the energy for your program, so don't worry.
Okay, so he is the spokesperson for, or the communication member for the NDC. He speaks for the NDC. And to my extreme right also, I have the man in white, Mr. Bernard Amu. Mr. Bernard.
Yes, madam.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You don't have any special reason for being in white?
No, I don't.
Okay, but I hope the morning is good and the weekend was favorable.
By God's grace, under this regime, I think it's good.
We thank God for your life as well. We're just going to delve straight, and I hope you are okay with that.
That's fine.
All right. My first topic today, that what I really want us to look at is the you know about the anti-gay bill?
Sure, the LGBTQ
plus, because now.
Yeah, they're fully aware.
Very, very long name. Okay, so, but before we delve into, I'm learning that we have some of our people in South Africa, and they just want to do a little sharing of their experience in South Africa. So you give us just about maximum of 10 minutes for them to do that. Hello? Hello, Reggie. Reggie. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, Julia, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
I can clearly hear you. Can you
All
hear me?
right. So you want to give us a little, help us to feel the way you are feeling this morning, your experience in South Africa.
Well, as you can see, I am rubbing my palm against each other just because I'm trying to generate some heat for myself. The weather here is currently at 17 degrees Celsius.
Wow.
As opposed to the 25 degrees that you're experiencing in Ghana right now. And the temperature could drop up to 15 degrees Celsius. So you can imagine the level of coldness here. And as much as you see behind me a very bright weather, it's quite cold here. And I think that it's an interesting weather first off, because once you get here, that's the first thing you feel. And then when you get into Sandton in Johannesburg, where we are currently, you realize the beautiful atmosphere, the beautiful landscapes, amongst other things. When you're speaking to my other colleagues, I'll be taking a few shots so that you can see what exactly Sandton is like, especially in terms of the architecture. This is a well-planned city. They started somewhere from 1963, and it has taken almost 50 years to bring something to what it is now. This is a business district, and I think it's a destination center. You would find shopping malls, you find apartments, businesses, and talk about the cars that I love. They are all here. I think that it's a very good experience. Each and every person should find themselves here. Well, if you can see behind me, that's a very tall building, and it's a landmark in Sandton, actually. Yes. We'll tell you more about that. In the meantime, I'm doing fine here. Just that the weather is quite chilly, and I'll go inside very soon. So you can speak to my other colleagues. We have Cyril on the line. We have Mr. Magnus Thompson here, as well. We have Reginald Robertson. We have Mr. Reginald Onteji. And we also have Chris as well. So speak to my other colleagues, and I'll give you some shots whilst you speak to them.
Okay, so Peps, how? Peps. Hello, first of all, can you hear me?
Lady Julia, I'm well. Yourself?
I'm great and highly favored this morning. So tell us a little of your experience.
I might quite say that Reginald had shared a bit of more of the first-time experience in Johannesburg with us. But the comfortability and the serene from the Hotel Sky here in Sandton City, Johannesburg, is something that is quite remarkable that we can talk about. That when you wake up in any of the rooms here in Hotel Sky, the fact that there is a coffee stand or coffee mixer at a vantage point to your disposal, coffee lovers like me would definitely want to sleep and wake up in Hotel Sky in the heart of Johannesburg. Reginald quite said that this city, as we call it, Suntain, it's a coin from the word sundown and then Bryantown city. So we have Bryanton and then sundown forming the word Suntain City. It used to be uh, before the apartheid era. It used to be a city, a municipality on its own until post-apartheid that they've put it under the Johannesburg Metropolitan Municipality. So it is under it currently. And the Liberty Group led in putting the city together. So look at the skyrocketing buildings that Reginald Adi will be showing us in the course of time. It's all as a result of what the Liberty Group has been able to do for us. Johannesburg is also under the, we will call it Gauteng, but they call it Gauteng. The people of South Africa call it Gauteng province. It's one of the 9 provinces in South Africa. And when it comes to something, this is the industrial city, business city. Any telecommunication hub you can make mention of, any gadget company you can make mention of, any industrial company you can make mention of, they have their representation here. When it comes to the automobile industry, top notch. The Mercedes hub is also find itself here. And look at the kind of cars they use here. Oh Lord have mercy. Only heavens can stop you when you are a car lover in this particular city. It's been quite an experience for me. And like I was telling Cardinal, our boss here, that it is grace and then hard work on the part of other people to put this place here. And I'm grateful that our politicians are sitting in the studio there. That aside the ranting of who did what and who did not do what, there's a need to come collectively as leaders of Ghana to build a country like what South Africa has done for itself. If our forebears have failed us, the current generation of political leaders, current generation of youth leaders or youth in this country needs to be generational enough to make Ghana a better place. That tomorrow people will fly all over other parts of the world to come and also enjoy the serene in Ghana like we are doing here in South Africa.
Oh, thank you so much for that, first. So let's hear from Chris. Chris, how about you? What's your experience there like? Hello, Chris. Chris? Okay, so if you can't hear from Chris, then I think we'll open the floor for Sam to speak. Yes?
Hello, Julia. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
How are you doing?
I'm blessed.
And good morning to you and the gentlemen in the studio as well. I think it's quite a good experience for some of us. We have been here, several times. And currently, I would actually continue from where people are left off. That yesterday we were having a discussion, myself, Reginald, Adi, and then we were trying to compare the area that we are living. We currently find ourselves to a similar place in Ghana, and trust me, our best place in Ghana, as far as development is concerned, comes nowhere close to where we are here. And so, then development, leadership and everything comes into the question. What are we doing as a nation? And it's good that we have our politicians in the studio to at least take some cues from what we are saying. It is not just about always trying to let the other political party know that I did this, I did A, I did B, I did that. It is about collectively coming together and pushing the development agenda. I'm telling you for a fact that where we are here, no place in Ghana comes close to where we are here. The whole of Ghana. And this is just Johannesburg something. You have not even been to Cape Town, because Cape Town is more beautiful than where we are here. And so you ask yourself, what are we doing as a country? So it is high time, or it is time that we sit together around the table and decide what we want to do for Ghana. We have to bring the country from where it is to what we are experiencing here. Fortunately for some of our politicians, they have been traveling, quite frequently all the time. So I don't know why, how do you call it?
They say they do. They are nodding to you. They say they do get what you're talking about. They understand perfectly.
Exactly. They have been traveling, and you see, I'm currently facing a very, very huge building that is housing Forbes, as in the Forbes magazine, the company that usually lists or do those researches into billionaires and investment. It's also housed ABN. It's also housed in CNBC Africa. And you look at the magnificent infrastructure here, and you only ask yourself, what are we doing?
You certainly must show us pictures when you come back. But we have just 2 minutes, and before we go, I just want Cyril to chip in his voice a bit. So,
Go ahead,
Cyril, hello.
Go ahead.
Hi, Julia.
Yes. I hope you are doing well. You are not freezing too much. Hello, Cyril.
Hello, Julia. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, I think my colleagues have said a lot so far. I would only add a little more. But before I go, how are you doing and how is Ghana?
I'm blessed, and Ghana has been hot. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Good morning to your guests in the studio as well, and all cherished viewers of Adoatv television. Okay, so unfortunately, Ghana is hot, but South Africa is also cold. All right. I think my colleagues have said a lot about the infrastructural development over here. I would want to talk about the other attributes, the attitudinal factors that I have noticed around. I think over here things are more organized. We see a better sense of urgency in how people go about their duties. We see people respecting road traffic regulations. We were looking out to see if we could see any Okadas on the roads here. I don't know if it's because we are in Sandton City, Johannesburg, but we have the Pragia type of taxis around, but we are yet to see any Okadas. But even with the Pragias, they obey the road traffic regulations. You don't see anything like driving at the shoulders of the roads and the lights. Now, people are very urgent when it comes to time. We already finished with one business meeting before this particular interview, and just about 30 minutes to the time, we had already received a prompt by the people who were hosting us to let us know that they were ready for the meeting. If they were ready,
talking about time there, we have just 1 minute, and I know we cannot end this without adding our boss, Uncle Reggie, in. So I think we'll just leave the 1 minute to him.
That is fine.
Come again.
That is fine.
Okay, so then let's speak with Mr. Thompson then. Okay. Hello, Mr. Thompson.
Yes,
hello.
Madam, good morning. Okay. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored to be hearing from all of you, giving us your experiences.
So yeah. Well, I've noticed something very good about these people in the Sandton city, Sandton here. The security and then the level of respect, the discipline, especially on the roads. They take everything very seriously. They don't joke with their system here. They have a very good structures. And I think if we have these in Accra, it would be very nice for us because people have to travel and come and learn what is going on outside Ghana. I think that we have also seen so many things here. The shopping malls, how they organize themselves, how they go about it, how they buy, how they purchase. Everything looks good. Everything looks good here. And I think the weather also is not easy at all. You know, this morning it's not been easy. From where I'm sitting, I'm just freezing, but I'm managing it, because it's my first time, and I'm trying to experience how the weather and the temperature and everything is here. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
I'm experiencing your weather right here because we have the AC functioning very well here. But thank you all so much for letting us...
Julia.
Yes, hello?
Yes, if I could say something for just 10 seconds.
Okay. May I know who I'm speaking with?
All right, so Cyril here.
Cyril, okay.
Yeah, so especially to the politicians in the studio and all our cherished viewers, Adoatv would like every single person to have such an experience. So as it stands, we are working together with Hotel Sky Santin City, all right, so that we give this opportunity, especially to our politicians in Ghana, come and experience what the South Africans are doing for their country, and then also to Ghanaians as well, because we have to fix ourselves to be able to fix our country, all right, so that we can replicate and build our country together. We'll speak further on this later on. I think your time is up, right?
Yes. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy your
Thank
chill
you,
and enjoy
Julia.
all the nice sceneries there.
Thank you.
We
When
hope
I'm
you have
coming,
a
buy ice cream
wonderful
for you when I'm
stay
coming.
before you join us again. Okay, so that's how we end with them, and I turn my attention back to our studio guests. I just introduced, I was about introducing the topic, the bill that was passed on, that's the anti-LGBTQ plus bill. Just some few points I have there. So the move is to trash the anti-LGBTQ plus bill. And it says it's gaining some momentum. A group made up of 15 well-renowned individuals have sent a memorandum to Parliament. They claim the bill, when passed, violates human rights. The group of 15 renowned individuals have sent a memorandum to Parliament to trash the anti-LGBTQ plus bill before the House, as it violates most of the fundamental human rights of Ghanaians. And a lot of Ghanaians are speaking against this. So the renowned individuals, which include legal practitioners and professors, stated that aside from violating the key fundamental freedoms under the Constitution, the bill also violates the dignity and inviolability of every person guaranteed under Article 21 of the Constitution. So let me start with the man in white. Mr. Amu.
Yes. Yeah.
What do you hold? What's your take on this particular bill, and which side, if you'll be free to, you choose?
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and also I say thank you to your viewers. I send a warm greetings to my honorable Member of Parliament, Sylvester Tete, Botiano English Amanfum. Looking at this topic, the LGBTQ and the memorandum that has been sent to Parliament, one would wonder, what is the interest of this memorandum? When you read everything about it, it looks to base their emphasis on human rights. Okay. Human rights. I have listened to those who are pushing this bill, especially Honorable Samuel Ningo Pampram MP. Yeah. Listening to him, you would realize that it is not all about human rights, because there are economic factors in there. There are a lot of things. And when a committee like this sits, they solicit for views from different people, different places in this. So one of them is what these lawyers have done. Obviously, their views will not be turned down, to be considered, read together with the bill that is supposed to be in Parliament. In fact, the bill has been read first once. It will be read again. So when this is done, this will be able to help bring a more well-written law, because when Parliament passes it and the President signs, it becomes law. Okay. And obviously, looking at all these input, I'm sure Christian Council and then some religious bodies have also met the committee. They've given their reasons. Just like this, lawyers also coming out to give their reasons. But I believe strongly that the sole reason should not just be about human rights, because economic indicators, economic disturbances also exist. Because at some point, when you check the stats, even in countries that have legalized these things, they spend so much, especially on HIV, because it's estimated that in US, 68% of HIV infections are between homosexuals. You understand? And it's quite serious. So look, recently the AIDS Commission, the Ghana AIDS Commission, brought out statistics. It was quite frightening that within a short period we are having over 300,000 of our population being infected by HIV/AIDS. And then it also brings economic. We are drawing a budget to run a country. we are in COVID times, and then we allow these LGBTQ to also come into the picture. Obviously, the government will have to spend because these HIV drugs, retroviral drugs, and all that, government subsidize them. You understand? And instead of making sure our free SHS keeps running, our agri sector improves, and our basic infrastructure as a country, just like your brothers in South Africa were suggesting, that infrastructure-wise, they are doing very well. So if a country is focused and we aim to develop, these things should not just, our mindset should not just be focused on human rights alone, because just allowing this to go without clear-cut sanctions, that this country forbids these things and that these are rules, because according to the bill, if you even support or give a platform for these things, there's punishment. And you see, the only thing that makes law a law is punishment. Yes, because if there's no punishment, I can do anything I want. Yes, today you ask me to cross the road. I can cross the road whether a vehicle is coming. I cross and then a car doesn't knock me down. I think that decision or that advice you gave me is not of any benefit. But when I cross in a car, I see a car and it's likely to knock me down. It even knocks me down or someone else. I know there's punishment for doing that. Hence, I won't do that. Or police will even arrest me for doing that. Then it is people are like that. When you learn something a little about change management, you know people are like that. Sometimes laws are supposed to be made, else people will go rampant and misbehave. So I think I support the bill. The president himself has demonstrated enough that he supports the bill. In fact, when the LGBT community decided to hold their meeting here, according to the honorable MP on the NDC side, he said immediately he placed the call to the president. Yes, he said he called the president and the president sent national security. These are his own words. This is from an NDC MP. And the president has clearly stated that Ghana is not ready for this LGBTQ. In fact, nobody wants it now. In fact, we don't even want it at all. There should be some laws so that our children who are growing up, they would not even have the option to even choose from. Because if you allow them in our system, then they'll decide, oh, okay, then this is an option available. But if we have clearly stated laws and with punishment attached to it, I'm sure nobody, even our homes, will not even mention it. I also entreat the religious bodies. Mostly, we leave everything to politicians. Politicians will do what they can, as in making the laws work. But these are things that people hide to do them. And it starts from the home, starts from the religious bodies, using the pulpit to admonish and advise people to stop these acts. Because most of our reasons for letting people not to do or engage themselves in these things are based on mostly religious reasons and cultural norms. In our traditional homes, our religious bodies and then the Muslims, Christians, we should use our medium to tell our people who believe in this religion that our laws are saying that the Bible or the Quran is telling us that we forbid all these things. Those who also champion the cause that we will have to sign it no matter what because they will give us some funding, it's not true. It has not, whether they give us or not, countries are existing without aid from them. From those countries that are pushing these agendas. Countries are living. Dubai is a clear example. It's a tourist attraction country, but if you go there and practice these things, in fact, they are serious. In fact, they are lashes and all that you receive. Some even imprisonment, which is even serious. So nobody, government is not in any tight corner where it has to push it. No. And government has demonstrated that it is not for LGBTQ laws here.
Okay. On that note, I give the floor to you, Mr. Agokache, to release some.
Mr. Ajokache.
Ajo, not Agbo. Okay.
Yes. Good morning to
good morning.
Yourself, your staffs, and then your cherished viewers. I also want to use this opportunity to extend my regards to my family and the NDC, the great NDC. And also to remind His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo that as at now, each Ghanaian owes not less than 11,400 cedis as debt to pay as a result of his reckless way of spending, an extravagant way of spending. We are also pleading with him that let conscience advise and guide him so that he can stop the fulfillment of his political prophecies that he stated in those days that we took an overlook over or two. With regards to the LGBTQI+, it's an interesting story that is unfolding in a dramatic manner. He has said parts that I wouldn't like to go back to repeat. Let me continue from where he ended. This bill laid before Parliament. In recent time, a few days ago, we received a notice from some group of, I now refer to them as a result of this statement, that some group of title aspiring and celebrating without reference and importance to their professorship and law that they claim they are doing, presented a memorandum to Parliamentary Select Committee on Legal Affairs and the Speaker of Parliament to trash out the LGBTQI bill that is already on the floor of Parliament. We all understand that we live in a community where we have some norms and we have cultural beliefs. And no law that you try to, put across should be contrary to the values and the cultural beliefs of the people. Unless otherwise they want to pretend to tell us that they have lost their sense of morality and their sense of judgment based on cultural beliefs, then we can seek refuge with them at asylum and probably refer them to mental places that they can work on their minds. They presented that this bill should not go through. What are their reasons? If you read through the memorandum of which I read through, you would see that every aspect of their argument is bordered on legality. And the legality they are talking about, they are only arguing that the processes leading to the acceptance of the bill and pushing of the bill is wrong. My question then is, if you as professors and lecturers of law and lawyers who think that these systems that they are using to bring this law to bear is wrong, the only way to stop it is to tell Parliament not to, accept or approve this. No. Then you should rather recommend to the committee that there should be better legal systems and procedures that you should take this item through, so that it doesn't seem or look like you are trying to tell us or force us to belong to that particular environment. So write to Parliament rather, instead of channeling your energy into stopping this agenda, rather channel that energy toward quoting and giving us steps and legal ways to do it so that everybody can be included and it will not hurt the right and probably the feelings of people that are involved. But not telling us that due to this article in this constitution, this article in this one, the way this thing is going, it is bad. Now, let me ask a simple question. Akoto Ampao, he is the lead signatory to this item, and he's a best friend and a personal lawyer to the president of the land. We are aware of that. And he can advise the president legally on issues like this. You look at Audrey. She has written a lot of papers and books on human rights. Okay? You go to Karikari. You go to Menu. If you look at all these professors, they are one way or the other few selected group of persons who have specific interest and agreed motive. It is not the representation of the entire ideology and interest of the state or the citizenry. Because when you take them one after the other, if you take Akoto Ampao, he's a friend to the president. You take Techiwa Menu, he's a friend to Ampao, and he is the board chair to Abantu. So you could see that they work closely. These are people that have been working over 15 years together.
But that doesn't necessarily
No,
mean...
I'm building an argument.
Okay.
I'll clarify why I am raising that, then you get it.
Okay.
You go to Rose Mensah. She's the regional director to Abantu, the same organization that Audrey is. You go to Kwame Karikari, he's currently the chairman to Graphic Communication Limited. You go to Kofi Ajimabodu, and he is the board chair to CDD. And don't forget that Audrey and Menu are members of CDD as well. So if you look clearly, you will realize that these are group of persons who sat at a particular place that probably they are being influenced from a darker perspective to come and join the light and try to, change the light to be dark. But I want to encourage them that, look, if you feel that you want to engage in lesbianism, gayism, and those stuff, Ghana is not bounded by metallic walls. You can fly out of the country and join those countries that have passed those laws and live such a life and live it well there.
But this is their country.
Don't worry. It is not only their country. And a survey conducted shows that the number of Ghanaians who are against this is more than the few who are pushing for this. You get what I'm saying? Initially, before this bill was presented, there was extensive consultation. Where were they? That the legal deficiencies that they see in this bill now, they could not have recommended those items to the committee that had opened its doors to every Ghanaian to submit to their table. You failed to work on all those things.
I want to read just the first, line of their memo. It says there, that's in the introduction section. The LGBT bill currently before Parliament is a major step backwards for democracy, inclusiveness, the protection of minorities, and the vulnerable in society, and of the fundamental human rights in Ghana. I get it when Mr. Amu, you say that this is not. I get it when you say that looking at this particular issue as a whole, the human rights aspect is not enough to just debunk all other parts or aspects that this particular issue affects. What my issue in particular is with this is that, does that mean that when there is a minority or a minority in the country has a view, just like the LGBT that kill whatever that we are talking about now, you criminalize their, like, what they believe in, what they hold on to? Because I know that there are some people who, no matter the percentage that agree to it, the small percent that do not agree to it, what then becomes of them? And as you're saying that Ghana is not bounded by metallic, I really like that phrase very well. But then do we say then that we have to draw them out, that then the country or their country is not conducive enough for you just because we find you as part of this group, this minority? Because of social inclusiveness, because of things like that, that's why I'm talking. Protection of the minorities. What then happens?
Let me ask, I don't know, any of you can advise me. Is it the majority in Ghana that smokes weed?
No.
Is it the majority that smokes weed? No. But we pass law against such an activity.
Of course.
So are you telling us that because there are minorities that smokes weed and we have to, go with the statement social inclusiveness? You get it? As a result, we should consider the few people who are smoking and then be able to pass law that will allow us to smoke.
So in your words, this does not harm democracy.
From where?
No, of course it doesn't.
Unless otherwise, Akoto Ampao and his colleagues, lawyers and professors, want to tell us that they are the few minorities that are lesbians and gays in this country. No, Sam George and his committee that presented this item alongside the Christian Council and the religious leaders, they came out publicly to say that we are not part of this and we cannot submit to this agenda. So publicly, everybody knows that Sam George is not a lesbian or a gay. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So for they also coming out, they should allow the minorities to petition. What is their interest? If you take a case to court, you need to have an interest in the case. So now that you are taking the case to parliament, what is their interest? It means that indirectly they want me, their son, to believe that they are lesbians and gays. Unless otherwise, they should come out publicly to tell Ghanaians that, look, we have different agenda. You see, I was asking a question the last time that what are the interests or what interests do they seek to achieve? 2, I am beginning to also think that is government trying to fight this case with a long spoon? Because all the names that are there, look, I was able to get my 3 hours to research on each name.
All 15.
I'm telling you, from their SS time through university, their affiliations, the programs they read, where they work, and the political connections they have, including the past government and the current government. If you don't do it that way, you may not be able to get a clear cut of what is happening here. So after reading all these things, I am beginning to be furious and curious as well to ask that is government trying to dine on that table with a longer spoon? You are not sitting with this. Don't forget, you were in this country when Gabriel Tedako posted an item about this LGBTQ. And the statements that are made on his Twitter account, similar words are in the introductory of this item. So for me, I'm only waiting patiently to hear from government, hear from the office of the president and the vice president on about their thoughts concerning this agenda that these professors and lawyers are pushing. Or else, I want to plead with him that his friend Akoto Ampao and his legal comrade might drag him into a way. So Mr. Akufo-Addo, I'm expecting him to come out on that. Then another thing is, the legal grounds, as I stated earlier, the legal grounds to which they are pushing this agenda. Are we choosing legal deficiencies over moral and cultural standards of the Ghanaian community? Don't forget, if there is no morality, then there is no essence for law. Have they also considered the effect of the agenda they are pushing? Because their memorandum, I have the memorandum here, is here. This is the memorandum. The memorandum from 1 to the last item is only speaking about legal. They are not speaking about morality. They are not speaking about cultural background. They are not, look, as he rightfully said, or he rightly said, there is nothing that you can threaten us with when it comes to economic sponsorship, that if you fail to pass this item, we will not loan you, we will not do that. It is because we as citizens, we have failed to think. Our leaders have failed to reason. That is why all the time we need to run to them. Now, with the president again, his constant visitation to these countries for borrowing is also another thing that is raising their interest. Because there is a saying in our local palace that he who stretches his hand to the king takes off whatever that is put in your hand. So at this point, everybody knows that Ghana is always on the run for money. And as a result, this is the time that we can corner them well. I'm pleading with him that, Mr. President, you should find a better way to handle these issues, and it shouldn't be in his tenor, as he said earlier on in some of his statements on his tour, that it is not going to be his tenor that such items will come up. So with me, I disagree, and even if I die, I think my spirit and my soul will still disagree with this LGBT thing to come to Ghana. I am not in for that.
You're not in favor at all. Mr. Amua, I can see you really want to say
Okay.
something there.
Okay, so listening to my brother Israel, in fact, he started very nicely, and mostly the work of opposition, we expect they will try very hard to drag the president in, drag the government in. Akoto Ampao is a lawyer who was hired by the president on the election petition. He is not the legal advisor to the president. The person who is the legal advisor to the president is called Mr. Esuman, which we all know. And we can see clearly that the write-up is all about, has a legal perspective. These are lawyers who have come together to put up this write-up. We cannot assume that it is something that has a link to the presidency or the government, just because one or few people in there have had some affiliations with the president. No.
He said all 15.
Yeah, he mentioned 3.
I didn't say they have affiliation. I didn't say that.
Well,
I was specific. I mentioned some names.
Yeah, of course.
And then
you mentioned 3 names,
yeah, no,
right?
I mentioned more than that, I think 4.
Okay.
And then I linked them to CDD,
of course,
Abantu, and they work together. I didn't say that they are, but Akoto Ampao.
Exactly.
I also didn't say that Akoto Ampao is the legal advisor to the president.
No,
I didn't say that. I said he's a friend.
I
said he's a friend and he can.
Legally, he can advise. No,
yes, and I said he can. I didn't say he's the. No, there's a difference between somebody can advise and he is the.
You see, I'm only talking about the impression you seek to create out there.
No, I didn't say he's the one.
Of course, you see. You do not have to even bring that matter in here.
But is he not a friend to the president?
Yeah, he is. Nobody has said that. But president.
Are you aware that he and Akufo-Addo are the managers of the Prempeh and Co law firm?
Oh, exactly. But you see,
are you aware that they share business interests?
What I'm talking about is that we should not create the impression, because unless otherwise stated, where the president comes out and says that I am for this, I'm for that, or you have any evidence to prove that indeed there was some form of communication between the president and himself. Let's not even go there. Okay, let's not go there.
But is it possible?
Well, they are friends. But
so
I doubt the president will have the time to wait for Akoto Ampao to bring. In fact, the document out there, it's amazing that it is Akoto Ampao's name that pops up first. But the second point, and then the second person signs. I don't know how one person will be able to sit, go through all the documents and then not sign.
Tickles our curiosity.
Exactly.
I'm speaking from the layman's view. It tickles our curiosity a little.
Exactly.
Because it says that birds of the same feather
flock
together.
Exactly.
And we have heard time back when an interview was granted our president. I've forgotten which country. But he did say something about LGBT.
It's bound to happen.
Plus.
He said it's bound to happen.
Even though we cannot accept it now, it is bound to happen. And I wanted to chip it in, but I knew he would bring it. So I just cooled down for you
on what the president said. In fact,
yes. So when you did state that it would never actually, not now and not ever. That is in your earlier submission. I was a little curious on that tickles our mind a little, because we have heard from our president himself saying that it is bound to happen. And so sometimes his silence on certain of these issues also raises, or it makes our antennas stick up a bit. That is he silent because we all know once somebody says something is bound to happen, it shows a little which side he is on. So we have been, can I use the word alternated in a way to know or to think that our president, even if he says no, he still has one foot on that gear, that if the need arises, he would surely.
Okay, exactly. Thank you. You see, the president, before being president, among all his life has been a lawyer. Just like the 15 lawyers and their writer. Obviously, if you ask, the NDC, Francis Sosu, the member of parliament, he came out when this bill was passed, he had opposing views to it. Because he's a lawyer. So would we say that he supports gays and lesbians?
Lawyer Francis Sosu.
Exactly.
He did not.
But he's a human rights lawyer.
No, his statement is not an opposing view.
What did he say?
He never.
What did he say?
Maybe you can reach to us.
For you. You see, he made some suggestions. Yes. It was also in an attack to the bill. Exactly. It was an attack to the bill in his attempt to correct some of the, just like the lawyers are doing. So ordinarily, the president is a lawyer, and when he's actually he made some earlier submission before he went ahead to say that it's likely to happen. In the sense that he said some years ago he was in UK and it was forbidden. if you really check the history behind LGBTQI or whatever, you know that at some point, even in America today, that have legalized it. Even America, it was until 2015 that they passed it into law where they, in fact, it was the Supreme Court 5-4 ruling. 5-4 ruling in their Supreme Court that decided that now their marriage certificate should be recognized. Even I'm told, reliably told, that some states even do not recognize their certificate. You understand? So it evolved, and we all know law evolves. Now, within this period, maybe what we are going to do, and we can't predict for the future. Maybe we will not live to 100 years, but our children will come. That is why this bill is very good, because at some point we will have children who, in one way or the other, would not be open to these things, and these children will become leaders, and then they will be here where we are, and so continuously we will prolong it. But if we allow them now, where these things have become normal, and we find them in textbooks and all that, the children, when they sit here, they will not be talking like the way Israel and myself are talking. We will not be opposing it. They will be okay with it in the excuse of human rights. You understand? So it is good that there's a bill like that. And the president himself, in fact, more than 3 times, has said publicly that he is not ready, and Ghana itself is not ready. We oppose the LGBTQ community in this country. Like I said, Honorable Sam George himself said that when the conference of the LGBT, he was informed about their conference, the person he called was the president. And the president sent national security people to close the place down. He said it. Okay. You understand?
See,
so
my problem
the
is
president
that
also said the president also said that some years in UK, in Britain, some point it was so bad to the extent that they hated the LGBT community, that when people are gathered and they identify them as such, some people are even killed. Today, that country is allowing those people free, and even if you make utterance, even in US, a couple decided not to bake cake for some gays wedding, and they were sued and their shop closed down. You understand? This is a country that frowned on this. So if the president said that some time ago, he was saying that on the backdrop that laws evolve. This is a country that frowned against these practices, and today they've accepted it. So that is why I also added that the president is supporting this bill, just like the other religious body. Research is saying 90% of Ghanaians also support this bill, or they support this bill and against LGBTQ community in this country. So yes, just like the MPs are representation of the people, the president is also a representation of the people. He cannot bring any law that the people do not ascribe to. So there's no way. You can't play tricks here. You understand? The legal aspect where lawyers would speak as lawyers, just like doctors would.
That was going to be my next question.
Exactly.
So do we respect, or do we take what they said in regard as what they are supposed to do? They are just doing what they are supposed to do.
Exactly. And I think Parliament does not only play legal roles there. They consider the economic issues in the country. They consider the health. There's a health committee in Parliament. So that committee sitting there alone will have to solicit for a lot of views. That is why the Christian Council has met them. Just now, these lawyers have sent their petition. They will consider a lot of them. And at the end, the bill will still come to Parliament. And then to be read, and I believe so, that we pass, because majority of the on both sides.
I think that is why it is very, very necessary for us to be strict with this law.
Exactly.
When we are very strict with it, and we vehemently oppose the activities of LGBTQ plus.
Exactly.
Then it means that it will, I think it will send a strong message even in the future.
Exactly.
So that is where I also come in again.
Okay.
Not really understanding where you say, or where our president says it is bound to happen. Because if I'm standing vehemently against something, then it means that no matter how I look at it, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that even in the future, even if it is 200 years after me, I will send or leave such a strong message that whoever sees it knows that this is the reason why we oppose this. This is the reason why we stand against it.
Exactly. You know, the late Professor Mills, when he was confronted with this issue, David Cameron made a statement that Africa should allow LGBT. He made that, and that they would tie it to resource, giving them resource. He stated it clearly that they can keep their resource and Ghana will move forward. But you see, the issue here is that he only made a statement. Is it enough? Today we are fighting on passing a bill. The statement of the president is also is coming to reinforce the law. Because when the law comes and then it's brought to the president has no option, he will sign. Because majority, 90, no, whether the president himself, God forbid, that he is even gay, granted he is even gay, he can't because the people themselves, and he's a politician, he cannot bring anything that the people are against. He won't. So in the same light that I'm saying, that when we have all these issues and we bring all of them together, then we can consider and say that the president said this, president said, but saying it alone doesn't mean anything. When there's a bill that is passed and it becomes law, then we know that we are fighting a good cause. The president has continuously stated clearly that he's against LGBT.
I think I'll give him the floor. Look at this. Akufo-Addo's tenure as president is not the time, the ideology, the practice, and the public display of gayism and lesbianism are started. You admit that the emphatic statement of Professor Mills shut all doors, that nobody can even think of organizing a gay party under the watch of Professor Mills. Mahama came to power, nothing of that sort happened. So I am there pushing it back to the MPP and the Akufo-Addo that the words you use as a leader is very important. You made this statement publicly that it is bound to happen, and at the backdrop of a question posed to you on the threat that the Western world is pushing on the African continent as a result of refusal to accept the LGBTQI. Then you said it is bound to happen. Now, he's also stating that, look, the president cannot and will never say he will not sign this bill if it gets to his level, that is to Gazette. That is why I am suggesting to you and him and your viewers that the president knows this. Then probably that is the reason why they are pushing people from other corners to start cutting this thing at this level. Because when he passed this level, they cannot do anything about it. The only option he has is to sign. If that is the reason,
I think you should allow him because
that's fine.
If that is it, unless otherwise you want to pretend that you don't agree to internal strategies of pushing your idea on people. We all work in companies, we all have companies, and we have organizations that we belong to. If you really want to achieve an aim, it is not about making noise on the street.
Exactly.
It is about passing the right canals. Before the people wake up one day, Charlie, you are leading. That is why I'm asking. Is it that government is trying to dine on the table of the LGBTQI++ with a long spoon so that the food will not be prepared and served to them in public, that everybody sees now that they are dining and they will not be able to dine? So the statement the president made those days is wrong and it is condemnable. Come back to his family and friends government, Gabi Ochiridaku. Are you aware he's always pushing for this bill not to go through?
I think we've already spoken about that.
No,
I said lawyers will talk as lawyers.
No, it's not about lawyers.
No, lawyers will talk as lawyers.
What does Gabi Ochiridaku knows in this country that we don't know?
He's a lawyer as well, so you
get what I'm saying? Okay, let me tell you this. Whether you are a lawyer or you are not a lawyer, when they pass this law, the effect of it will come upon us.
Exactly.
And lawyers can never make any law without considering the people who the law is going to bind. What is the view of the Ghanaian society? We don't want it.
Exactly.
So why is Gabi Ochiridaku, who represents the views of the people, saying contrary?
How does Gabriel Chedakun represent the
Good,
views of
unless
the people.
I know MPP communicators,
obviously,
you
it's not
always
like that.
pretend.
No, it is not a fact.
You always,
he has
you
no, he's
see-
not an elected officer.
No.
Nobody has voted for him.
You see,
So
this
you can't
is
make
this is
that
a
statement.
problem. This is
He
a
doesn't
problem.
represent any
But
constituent.
it means that they use MPP dues at your headquarters to pay him at the Flagstaff House.
That's very untrue, please.
I know. That's what they are telling us. What money do they use to pay? Is he not paid? The work he's doing.
What work?
What is the position of Gabriel Chidaku in the Flagstaff House? He doesn't have any position there.
Have you had any official? Do you have evidence to this statement? Because
Charlie,
he is
what are you
not
talking
under,
about?
Do you have evidence to say that?
So are you aware? Are you aware that he is part of President Akufo-Addo's convoy when he's traveling out of the country? Are you aware? Don't pretend on national television. You see, you are not going to be in power forever.
Is that what we've got?
No, you are not going to be in power. No, you are not going to be in power forever.
You are only assuming.
Not being in power forever. You are
You
not going to be in power forever. And let me
Nobody
tell you.
will. Nobody
Let me
will.
tell you.
But-
Let me tell you. The 2024 election would explain better if the statement of Akufo-Addo, his friends and cronies and apparatus,
let's not get
this to happen.
Let's not get there. Gentlemen,
No.
Gentlemen,
My problem is
get
that,
okay.
madam, my problem is that you cannot build an argument on the fact that lawyers are lawyers, and because Akufo-Addo is speaking as a lawyer, he approached the question from the legal background to the detriment of the people he leads.
That is
but
well
you see, nobody wants to have a law that will go to court and will not work. You understand? That is why the committee at their level is soliciting for views from a lot of people.
Is it, madam?
Do you know the 21, the LGBTQ people?
This case is still trending.
Excuse me, please.
But
you know the LGBT people.
One important thing.
Let's hold our guns.
No, all the processes.
Let's hold our guns.
No, you give me 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute. I am on the floor.
I'll give you 10 seconds.
I'm on the floor, so let me land. Unless otherwise you are being unfair to me. I'm on the floor, so let me land.
Just land on that. 10 seconds. Starting now.
Look at this. The professors and lawyers who signed this memorandum, all of them had commented strongly that the 1992 constitution need to be reviewed.
Okay.
And now you are drawing your strength from that same 1992 constitution that you are telling us we should review, that we are violating that same 1992 constitution. How then do you put these two statements together?
Okay, so that will be your final statement on this.
Okay.
Your 10 seconds starts now.
Exactly. So the only authority in this country that makes law is the parliament. And we believe very strongly that this bill will come out. No matter what insinuations the NDC will allege, it will come out and it will be passed. That is the stand of the president. He has always said that.
Will be your last statement on it. I want us to take a look at what our president had to say on the three-term. It's held here on the daily graphic. It says presidential term limits appropriate. The presidential term limits appropriate. That's on page 16 of the daily graphic. I'll read a little on that. President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo has indicated that he is in favor of the current existing presidential term limit. He said this was not only appropriate for the country's nascent democracy, but that it also injected fresh ideas into the governance system of the country. It promotes stability of our democracy. Speaking personally, I support the idea of term limits for presidents. It prevents abuse of office and coup d'etat. He said this in an interview with the Kumasi-based Ash FM last Saturday as part of his tour of the Ashanti region. And he's saying that this three-term thing, you know, he's not in support of it. This three-term thing, we know that it sparked the coup d'etat in Guinea. And Africa is very susceptible to that kind of, I mean, we've had experiences with it, Africa as a whole. Yeah. So when the president, not just in his capacity as president, but also as a chair to ECOWAS, comes out to say this, questions and more questions, but I think I'll bring my questions while you make your submission. So what's your take on this? Because I started with him first on the...
Imagine that we are in a country where a president like Akufo-Addo will be in power for 3 times. 4 + 4, 8 + 4, 12. With this extravagant lifestyle. Just imagine. like just put yourself in that thought, it will be very serious. That's just by the way. You see these 2 terms, that is 8 years, provided you are able to win your second term again to the office of the president. That is what our constitution has stated, and that is what we are going with for now. There are other views that let us do it, let's have a national development plan where a particular political party comes to power 8 years, you leave, another party will come another 8 years.
Yes, we've heard that.
Yes, those are all school of thoughts that are coming up. The question we should be asking as young men now is, looking at the 4-year term and the limit of 2 terms, has it helped our democracy? Has it helped the country? That is what we should be looking at now before we come out to say that the 4 term is okay, the 4-year term and the 2 terms limit on a president is okay. Because from the Rawlings, Kufuor, except may he so rest in peace, Atamels, they had all gone through the 8 years, 8 years, 8 years, 8 years. Now the question is, look at the amount of money that is channeled into organizing elections, from internal elections to the main elections. Don't forget, every year you need to organize branch elections, constituency elections, regional elections, national elections, before you go to parliamentary primaries. Then you come to primaries for the presidential candidate before you go to the national election. If you look at the amount of money that we push into these elections, it is more than a 2-year budget estimate for the country. Just those elections. So now, people are also asking that if we know that Kufuor 8 years, Atamels, if he were to be alive, he would have finished his 8 years. Mahama, same way. Then you come to Akufo-Addo, same way. That means that we are having some form of consistency with the 8 years, which is the 2 terms. So why don't we remove one of the elections out and then to save us money and go with the 8 years? But those are school of thought. It is not my view. I am also still reading and researching around the best that can work for the country. But for now, no president can say that he wants to go for the 3rd time or the 4th time per our constitution. So whether President Akufo-Addo still wants to be in power and continue his extravagant lifestyle, are you aware that if he travel for 2 weeks, the rented jet cost us 3.2 billion
cedis or dollars?
Are you aware? You know these things. When it comes to issues like this, when it comes to things like this, and when it comes to things like this, you should be careful when you want to, disagree with them, because maybe your mother is not selling at Makola. My mother is there.
Even if it is Ghana cedis,
it's still a big money. How much?
It won't be that.
No, let me tell you, madam, I am on a committee that is drafting a development structure for a community that is a 4-kilometer road, 6 classroom blocks for primary, 3 classroom blocks for JSS. It is costing us just 1.2 billion. That is standard. Yes, Ghana cedis. That's Ghana cedis. Okay, that is what we need to be able to put that building. And look at what you are just flying in the air. And the most annoying statement is that the president has now grown tall and he cannot sit in a jet. If he stretches his leg, it will touch the opposing person. Who doesn't know Akufo-Addo in this country that he's now tall? You see, so when your people come out to give us some statement, it's something that is alarming. So whether the president of the day, Akufo-Addo, likes it or not, the people will definitely reject him come 2024. So it's only affirming that, look, I can't. Even if I'm given the opportunity, I cannot. So it is good that he has come to declare his intentions that he will not be able to go through. Yes, ma'am.
You you are notorious in making certain obvious.
No, my brother from another mother will agree with me on this one.
I mean, you could have just said yes. Okay, Mr. Almo. Benji, please go ahead.
In fact,
Bernard, yes.
Mr. Israel, listening to him, well, mostly when you are opposition and then you have a government that is delivering, you are always tempted to be in a very tight corner. Your work is very difficult. You always have to. You always have to.
Not in Akufuado's term.
Let me finish.
No, not in Akufuado's term.
I think you should allow.
Let me finish.
You see, Akufo-Addo is giving us a lot of work.
Excuse me. We are talking about the president's statement on outlawing the third term for any ECOWAS African leader or president. And now we have been able to chip in the president's supposed flight.
But I responded to the question and I decided to conclude with the remaining time.
Oh, please, I'm
at
talking.
Convenience.
Excuse me.
So
now that we have gotten to the president, supposedly his luxury travels or whatever. In fact, the amount being quoted.
You say supposedly.
Of course, because
he's not
the
aware.
president himself has not come out. No, even this statement coming from Honorable Samuel Kujeto Ablakwa. Especially taking some pictures on social media, because all these pictures, it's not like he was in a plane or somebody in a supposed plane took the pictures. These are pictures he sat in the comfort of his own room.
Are the pictures not real?
They are not. They are not.
What do you mean by that?
Excuse me.
Do you know where our former you don't allow him to peddle such
That's what I'm asking. No, what I'm saying is that
hold your gun.
No, I can't be here and you'll be throwing that in the
eyes
of viewers.
So let me talk.
Isn't that wrong? I'll give you the time to rebut so that you can hit on those points.
Let the host do his work.
Yes, I will give you time.
The reason why I'm saying that is that Eugene Ahin has come out continuously, not once, clearly to the Ghanaians that the statement being put out, even gave examples of the flight names that Honorable Kujeto mentioned, and said they are false. So unless he has some evidence, I can assume that he sat in the I've done that before. I can sit on my phone and check the prices. I have done that. If some flight costs $79,000, it's not the $14,000 per hour. It's not the 14,000. You can sit there. Anybody can do that. So you just sitting there and then downloading some pictures and then just putting that out there doesn't make it a fact. Because you were not in the plane. The only truth or the fact that we can have is the president himself coming out, or reliable agencies who are responsible for the president's travels come out to tell us that this is how much we pay. And they can't lie. They won't lie because Parliament will summon them.
But this figure has been going around for quite a long time now.
Yeah. And
we've even had NPP communication team spokespeople here also quote that very same figure. So to hear now that that figure is it 14
amount
is not real. It's
because
fake
I am quoting
$16,000 per hour.
Somebody who works in the office of the press, who comes out to address the press. Said it. Yeah, said it. You can all find out. It's there. He says those figures and the flight names and all that Honorable is putting out. It's false. He said it. We can all
so the 15,000 is false.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, he said all those amounts and all those things are false.
So is it that this information is also not privy to the rest of the communication team? Because they have also quoted that same figure.
Exactly. So,
and have even given reasons why it should be.
The truth.
Yes.
The issue is that if you pick your phone right now and check the cost of flight and all those things, or now you will find a lot of prices. It is so easy for you to determine that indeed the president took this flight. It is so simple for anybody to do that. Because you can
can we fault Honorable Okujeto Ablakwa?
Oh, but I think he's even in charge of, is it Foreign Affairs? So if he has, unless he's saying that he has gotten briefs from the Foreign Affairs Ministry, then I can say that whatever he's saying is true. I'm only quoting where the source is coming from. And the pictures he took, the pictures that he has posted on his social media platform, nobody can identify that indeed this is the particular plane the president used. But he put it there. That's what I'm saying. That on what you can easily find out. Anybody can find out. Unless he's saying that those data that he put out there were information from the foreign ministry. You understand?
Madam.
Now back to the question. What we are talking about. the president is talking about limiting, outlawing third terms for any ECOWAS president, any president within the ECOWAS region. I think it's a welcoming idea, and the head of states all. In fact, Africa is the most continent that has been affected with, what do you call it, coups. Africa. I think from 2020 till now, we've had about 4 coup d'etats, and some are successful, some are not. Mostly it's because people want to cling onto power. Just like the president is saying. In fact, nobody, and I will end up by quoting Obama, nobody should think that it's within themselves or within him as a person that the country will develop. Just like my brother was saying, if it's a decision, it's a discussion where we will have to consider that let's give each person 8 years term. That's a different ball game altogether, and it should be considered at that level. But if we are all going per the constitution 4 years term, where mostly in Ghana, some people, most parties, political parties go 8 years, and then obviously somehow there will be a change, which in 2024 it won't happen. We believe that Ghanaians are looking at the gains we've made, the progress we've made in all the sectors. We'll continue to put the NPP in power so that we continue the good works. So unless anybody as a person is thinking that the progress of a country is within himself, you are likely to have this coup and issues like that, because nobody should rule forever. So this is a statement Obama made when he he met some of the African leaders. He told them that nobody, I'm paraphrasing it, if any leader thinks that it is within himself that a country will develop, that leader is a failure. Yes, and that he's trying to plan and plot so that he'll be able to stay longer in power. That leader is a failure. So we don't want African leaders to be failures. Hence, they should all welcome the idea that our president is suggesting, and that make sure that at their ECOWAS level have such outlaws where we will not allow, will not allow any president within the ECOWAS regions to go for a third term or change the constitution in some supposed referendum just to stay longer in power. It is no good. Just like the president said, we need fresh ideas. We need fresh ideas. Whether we are going back or front, we need fresh ideas. It is not in the hands of just one person to move the destinies of this country or any other African country to a different level. Because we, the youngsters, are coming. My brother here, very good at his job. And they will also want to one day...
I like that you acknowledge.
Oh, exactly. Because, like I said, the opposition job is not easy. You have to always go on attack and make sure government is seen bad. But
also, that's what you do when you are in opposition.
Well, it's part of the game, so he understands.
So that's what you do. Okay, I think we understand.
Madam.
You want to read back? Just a minute.
Just a minute. With all these lies, how can I use a minute to
you do that for me.
My problem is that unless otherwise he is telling me that the NPP communicators do not have data to consistently check on issues that of relevance. And he's aware that now you cannot even use 5 CD Vodafone data from 5 a.m. to even 12 in the afternoon. You are in the media space, so you tell me that data is extremely expensive.
That's making, I guess.
But who is doing it?
Okay.
When you told us that the conference flew out of Ghana, Mahama was there and he was the sieve in the air to protect the conference.
The amount of
Let's
money
come back to serious business.
He took for that project, which was
look at this. Even if Mahama, look, the problem is that even if Mahama has taken money, you can see N1 route.
Oh, really?
You can see hospitals. You can see schools.
Here.
All the money that you borrow, we are not seeing anything. Point one thing, you drive from here to OT, my region, to commission a transformer and lorry park and tell us that we should clap for you. Let me come to serious issue. You cannot divert my attention. Madam, you are in this country when we are rented our private jet.
Okay.
Guinea-Bissau president rented the same jet. The time Akufo-Addo was in the UK with the rented Arabian lifestyle jet, spending our money and bathing in the air, that same time the Guinea-Bissau president was using our old jet that was bought by Mills and was used by Mills and Mahama. And you are sitting in this same or this auditorium with us or this studio with us to tell us and tell Ghanaians that your president has not rented any jet.
I didn't say that.
No, but you said there is no reliable source of information that has come to clear that we do not rent, that the amount that is quoted is not correct.
Exactly.
What does Eugene Ahin knows that we don't know?
Oh, exactly.
What does he know that we don't know?
Oh, come on. Please. At least let's respect our viewers. What does he things you don't know?
What does he know?
He's the official spokesperson for the president.
Let me tell you.
Here saying that
Let me tell you. Are you aware? If we had not rented a jet at that particular amount, if we had not rented at that amount, what was the finance minister scared of to come to parliament to explain to parliamentarians that this is the amount of money that is used to rent a jet, but rather wasting 3 months come to parliament and say that is a national security issue, so the national security minister should come and respond to that. Those are all evidences to tell you that truly there is something that you are hiding under the carpet.
No.
My brother, it is our money. Unless otherwise you want to tell me that maybe you don't pay tithe. I say tithe. Are you a Christian? So you can replace that one with a tax. Maybe you don't pay tax.
Like I said, your work is difficult.
It's not. This is clear. This is something that
is not clear.
You see, let me tell you.
You see, what is clear is that there are facts and your truth.
No,
what
is the fact?
Is your truth. The fact is that we have people or agencies that are responsible to come out and give us figures. You can't assume.
So for Ghanaians to cry for 5 good years or 10 years before Eugene Ahin, that means the incompetence is growing around him.
Oh, is that the work of Eugene Ahin to come out?
No, is Eugene Ahin aware?
No, I'm also telling you that is it not the responsibility of somebody like Honorable Ablakwa to consult
what?
Yes, the foreign ministry. Because that is his committee.
What is the work of communication director of the presidency?
You understand?
Secondly, let me ask you, what is the work of the finance minister? Thirdly, what is the work of the national security minister?
But you see, they can't just come out.
We are still you cannot speak on 3 terms when you waste all our money. Say we have to go and start from class 1.
Nobody's wasting anybody's money, and then we can talk about 3 terms. 3 terms is what we are talking about. You went into that tangent where you are
I have to go into
information. It's not fact.
I want to ask a question because of this 3 term. I'm coming back to Ghana is serving, and we give our presidents the opportunity to run 2 terms of 4 years each. This is Akufo-Addo's President Akufo-Addo's 2nd term, first year, right? Almost done with the first year. Is it therefore, because this has been the question I see in most of the groups I am on Facebook, that and this is the worry of many Ghanaians as well. I think I can say, at least the many I know, that because this is his last 4 years, he is not going to stand again. And that is what I'm not just speaking because it is Akufo-Addo, but I'm speaking in terms of any other president. So they can do whatever they want in the last 4 years because they know that they will not come back to stand again. And we haven't really seen any president who has been called back to answer for certain issues, for certain wrongs or corruption charges in their previous or in the time they spent in government or as a leader. So is this what has been going on? And is has it become a trend? And is that the reason why he's coming out to tell us that, oh, as for 2 terms there, say I heard him say 2 terms, there wouldn't be a 3rd term. So this I don't know if you get my question very well, that because he knows and he has come out to tell us that he believes and he supports this agenda. So in other words, I'm not going to fight for a 3rd term. I'm not going to do that. Is he saying that, and that is the reason why we are seeing issues like the alleged overspending of the private jet,
extravagant
spending and all that? Is that the reason why we are seeing all these things? And I would want to start with you because we know so that if he has any rebuttals, he will phrase it in his answer.
So what I always like to say and tell viewers is that when we as youngsters, as the youth, we get the opportunity to address issues of national interest, because today you think you are living somewhere peaceful, or the contractor sorry to that if the road doesn't pass in front of your house, you always say the contractor is doing well. But when it passes there, let us, as youth of this country, have a proper discussion. A discussion where we look at facts, we look at the data available, and we make conclusion based on that.
Let me just tell you, it's just a minute.
Yeah, of course, exactly. So, what I won't quote Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, and I will not believe his statement until credible sources come out to tell me that this indeed is the amount the president paid, and then we can have a good discussion. The tagging president as extravagant spending and all those things, I think it's not here or there. It has no basis because no credible agency, finance ministry or anything has come out to even give us figures. It is only Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa and the ADC doing their best as chief propagandists coming out telling us, quoting figures, which today I can sit here and use my phone to find out. So please, I beg them, let us move the discussion to a level where, yes, RTI bill is there. If we want, we can try. Initiate the process, get the right information, and then quote base our argument on it. And then say that, Honorable Okudzeto can write to them, in fact, invite the foreign minister to a committee level and ask them to provide evidence. You understand? But we can't just sit down, because I sat in my home and find out. There you can find out flight name, how much they charge per hour, and all those things. And the things, whether Ojayu bathing in the skies and all those things. In fact, you can do that in the comfort area, and that is not data enough.
The point is well made.
Unless we get credible information from right agencies, and the president is not living an extravagant lifestyle.
Okay.
Please, we have seen that before. We've seen within the time where a president travels, and then the entertainment alone is a different ball game.
Thank you very much.
Let's not go there.
And Mr.
We entertained on a jet that we rented jet only twice in our entire government time.
But do you know that
only $5,000 per hour? Yours is 16,000.
That's not true. You don't have the figures of ours. So
I also want to tell him that I am trained as a port and shipping management expert. Any ship that is moving from Antwerp to Tema, to Yamoussoukro, to anywhere, there are apps that we use both at the airport and the seaport to see every item that is going on. We track everything.
That is how you know the ship.
Now,
right?
no.
When you know the type of ship, right?
Relax.
Is that what
Relax.
So you know the type, so you
when
can know the amount.
President Akufo-Addo flies, the time of checking in, the processes that went into it all is known. It's public knowledge.
How?
So make your
it's public.
Make your
It's public knowledge. Coming back to your issue, you see Akufo-Addo.
Yes, sir.
He's only
president. Excuse me, boss.
Mr. Akufo-Addo is the
yes, His Excellency.
But I've not seen in our constitution that it's compulsory for citizens to address the president as president.
Make your point.
This is not compulsory.
Yes, it's not compulsory.
So
why are you pushing me? We address people who are carrying the magnitude and the power of presidency to grow countries, not people who are destroying the pest and the consolidated fund of the people. Now let me tell you, if your father is a thief, you can never go outside and defend him. You always be fumbling. That is what is happening to my good friend.
And that is how Mr. Ado wraps up on his point. Remember that the points of or the claims, whatever our panelists have to say is separated from what
it's personal. It's personal.
Yes,
we
it's
have
personal
our own
to them. But that is how we wrap up for the newspaper discussion segment. Don't go away. Don't go away. We still have one more thing to do just before our time is a wrap. But from me, I say have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.
John, Rufin, wow, Eddie, what boy Juma. I check a Rufina, or you fell one cassa from Asatek. Oh, na same roofing is a baby bray, nice keke. Why the catcher? Asatek roofing sheet today, and your nice keke with the board dance were a chey and rinache. They want to call us a hood of a fair bray. Hey, no nail free roofing sheet no dear. Who hear that will be out? Now so the board dance wa. A year so pampe. What means to trauma send your roofing sheet no. You try the sama pepe.
Mama po Asatec money there. One more technical advice na estimate fee. Or professional installers and so on your on-site installation.
Ni boss crowd dafampa.
Oh yes, quality and nibo da feminine.
Asatec 5 days pay na wasa kan order. Na wa year after sales service papa binso. Hwehwe Asatec what Tema Community 2, Meridian Road, a Benkoko Board Warehouse.
Western Region so Asatec wo Takrade Anaji, yene Princeland Hotel ene di hwene mu. And Volta Region yewo Akachi South District Assembly kwan so ha.
Malaria nti abayi waye juma bono. Malaria defo ya o. Enti awo ahire ne customers ni. Wahu ne se maami aye smart. Abe sibi malakio. Amma ne baya odi ko school. She se aduane si berry market chi ani malaria nti a onti mi.
And now Emma will be around to walk. So we have malaria test. Maybe one. And Trebetua and the CB Malakio. Yedinuna, Nehama, and Naki Kabum Asoneso, I CB Malakio. And no way so dear. And I don't grow. I yet tata shit.
A drawing yama a pen for about a woman for any quada one in feed.
Susiana, what would you with
FD Ashusha sa a jedi and crato you adia to Musa.
Announcements on Adoatv. Contact Adoatv for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 050-92-57754, 020-9494-258, or visit our marketing decks at Step Work Premises. Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
Hello everyone, my name is Adoatv, a proud ambassador for Sonotech's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's hashtag Pinktober, hashtag Sonotech Goes Pink. Now from the 1st October to the 31st October 2021, at any of the 3 branches of Sonotech, Tema, Osu and West Hills Malls, we are gathering together to get free screening. Yes, I said it's free. And that's not all we have for you. We also have 20% off mammogram testing and 50% off ultrasound. Let's go pink from October the 1st to the 31st, 2021 at Osu, Tema, and West Hills Mall, all Sonotech branches. We are giving hope to save a life. See you there.
Yeni Asatec, so your kunini roofing industry nim enti Saudi roofing na wadwen Asatec. Asatec wo quality long span roofing sheeter esan nail free. Try say ehia so de dadwabo mu nanso etim wodan no so a pampe amframa and ehum entumi nya no hwe. Asatec quality long span roofing sheets with beautiful bright colors with anti-fading and anti-rusting properties. Try say enwe na ache na empanso enti wo ma 30-year warranty. Terms and conditions apply. Asatec quality long span roofing sheet dear. Eye madan bia say your warehouse, school, hotel, hospital, sorry, ana say your wawufi. Use Asatec quality nail free long span roofing sheet no be. Na wo dan do be gina so na yi ne ho. wɔyɛ delivery services papa bi a ɛmfa ho ne fa kwan wɔ Asatec bɛma wɔ saka order between 3 and 5 working days. Wɔwɔ VIP delivery services so a 1 day pɛ na wɔ saka. Hwehwɛ Asatec akyiri kwan wɔ Tamako 22 Meridian Road wɔ ne Cocoa Board Warehouse na bɛn Takrade Efie Kuma number 9 wɔ bɛn Efie Kuma Fidelity Bank no Volta Region so wɔ Akache Tatome JN Bank nkyɛn hɔ pɛ. Asatec, sheltering you for life.
On the Ghana Breakfast Show, and that was Lady Julia there with the political discussion segment. It's now time to talk something very peculiar, something which has engaged the attention of many stakeholders in the country for quite some time now. Ghana has an impressive story of economic growth, but need I remind you that this comes with a warning, because the natural resources we're talking about that supports this success must be protected and sustainably managed. But over the past 30 years, an increase in the price and production of cocoa, gold, and oil has helped transform Ghana. And that's real GDP growth even quadrupled. Sometime in 2015, Ghana moved to a lower middle income country status. But the question on the lips of many is, how can this impressive development, anchored firmly on natural capital, continue to deliver gains in macroeconomic growth and poverty reduction? And that is what we are going to have a conversation centered on for the next 30 minutes. Kindly be my guest. Need I remind you that we're streaming live on Facebook, so you could join us with your thoughts and comments, or Adoatv Ghana, that's on Facebook. On YouTube, same via Adoatv_. You tweet at us at Adoatv_GH. Julius Kweku Kata is an international economist, a lecturer, consultant, and also a consultant fellow, and also a chartered economist. I understand he's also an international relations expert. He's going to help us digest and delve deeper into this particular subject. Aleke Ofwa. Yeah, Apomoto. The view. Right, I got it. Good morning.
Good morning.
I trust you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm doing
That
great.
is fine. Before we delve into the substantive matter for discussion, during the discussion between Lady Julia and the political reps, there was this they touched on briefly about the controversial presidential jet. As an economist, from where you sit, there have been so issues arising following the announcement of this proposed purchasing of the presidential jet. Would you say it's a misplaced priority, as it's being echoed by many civil society organizations and even the largest opposition party, the NDC?
Well, I thank you very much. I thank the management of Adoatv for the opportunity giving me all the time to be here on Monday. I really appreciate your support.
Right.
Before we can talk about this presidential jet issue, let me trickle your mind with some level of preference, which we call it scale of preference in economics, where a country sets its foot on the right things that are needed for the citizenry. For example, unemployment has become a serious canker in this country.
Right. Yeah.
We need to look back and sit down and ask ourselves, how are we going to fix those things? So, in order to reduce poverty levels, I think that at this time, going in to buy presidential jet is not really something which is crucial or needed at all costs for government to purchase the presidential jet. Reason, if you look at the amount of money that will go into buying of the jet, that will tell you that we are going to spend almost about 800 million Ghana cedis.
Then that draws the conclusion that it's a misplaced priority.
Yes. And then if you divide that amount with the districts we have, according to the present government's own mantra.
But for now, we do not know. For now, we do not know the details of the presidential jets to be purchased.
This is
an
estimated figure.
Okay.
So let's assume that 800 million Ghana cedis is going to be spent for that. You divide that by 216. You will get 3.7 factories in each district. And that 3.2, let's run it up to be 4. And if we are building 4 factories in every, we are going to spend 2 million Ghana cedis to build those 4 factories. Averagely, it means that we are eradicating the problem of unemployment. So what is our priority? When our people are not getting jobs to do, what production is not going on, and then you are going to buy a jet to sit in just to one person to drive to another country, go for meetings and come back. Is it the plane that is going to give us foreign aid? Is it the plane that is going to give us bilateral agreements? No. Those bilateral agreements are things that are worked out by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the interest of government. So to me, I believe that the scale of preference has not been drawn well. If they go in for the jet, then it means it's a misplaced priority.
But why don't we consider that? Why don't we put that into consideration, considering the fact that the president would have to hire a jet anytime he would want to go on a foreign trip? Because we understand our Falcon 900 is not in a good shape, and the security of the president is also paramount, and hence we need to put that into consideration.
What is not in a good shape? The plane, the Falcon.
The current one, yes, the Falcon 900.
But you are here. The discussion is going on this morning. The other presidents from other countries have hired the same plane and use it. So it's an evidence. That means that when they talk about it, you get it right. It's not logic for me to see people coming from another country to use our jet and travel 11 hours, 5 hours without a problem. So I'm not a technical person in terms of, but I'm talking from the economic perspective.
Right.
That's my concern. So when we can get 4 factories in a district with 2 million Ghana cedis basic, then it means that we will definitely reduce rural-urban migration, and will reduce poverty and make people work. That is all about it.
Right. That was just by the way. I wouldn't want us to delve deeper into that because I'm being instructed by the producer to go strictly by what we have on deck. Now, the recent World Bank Ghana country environmental analysis, which seeks to indicate that environmental degradation costs $6.3 billion annually, and that is nearly 11% of Ghana's 2017 GDP. That was the recent one we're talking about. Now, non-renewable resources such as gold and oil cannot sustain growth. I believe you would share with me in that sentiment. As resources deplete, while renewable resources like cocoa, timber, and another tree and food crops depend on good environmental stewardship. So the question is, how then do we reverse this trend? How should we reverse this trend as a country? Because I know, for instance, the country would need to implement policies and deploy investments to address such natural resource depletion. As an economist, what are some ways you would suggest, some policies you would suggest?
Well, the first one would be reforestation. I think over the years, government has made some policy for people to go into reforestation, and you can see that planting of trees are going on even in the oil fields we have around that area, because if the soil, if you are taking oil from the ground, there are some microorganisms that will be affected in making those heavy timber areas not to get the right forest product. So that is not to say that people will not deal in wood and all that. It must be replaced through a reforestation so that we can still have our forests, we can still have the trees we have, so that the cycle of the forestry plants we have, medicinal plants and all that, we can still have them. Another thing is that we need to have a look at how we are mechanizing our natural resources. There must be a think tank that could go deeper to scientific way of handling these resources so that all will not become a waste. For instance, if you are drilling oil, the crude oil has so many products. We can use it for PVC pipes and all that. We shouldn't just look at selling of crude oil into the world market. We should have a methodology, a scientific way of using alternatively the crude oil to reproduce some other items like the cork for fishing and other things, which will help us to be able to develop more. So resources, natural resources are a factor in production. That is how you can be able to realize the economic benefit of those natural resources to ascertain growth. If you want to do it well, then you have to balance the two. Your government would have to balance the two. And in balancing the two, that's why I gave an example of the reforestation. I also would like to give an example of the Galamsey issues that are happening. Even though many people wanted to go into Galamsey, but they have to make policies and regulations as to when you till the soil or you go underground, you need to replace the forest. You need to replace those areas that you have dug or drilled for the gold. You have to go in and plant trees there so that the land will not be left fallow.
But and after they are done, they just
go.
Like that.
So that's why government has put in place strict measures to make sure that whoever is dealing in Galamsey, make sure you are well registered, have a certificate and all that. So that when you are operating in a jurisdiction, you can be seen to be planting trees as well to be able to gain the macro energy of the soil. So that at the end of the day, those places can still be a farming area to produce goods for consumption and other things.
Even those registered as small-scale miners are having their excavators and the likes being seized from them. We saw the Operation Halt, an initiative by the government to help halt activities of illegal miners in the country. But we don't know how far this went because they are back on site and we don't know if there would be any other counter initiative against this.
Well, I learned government has put some regulations in place for them. They want to train them to understand the area of business, because you see that even foreigners are coming in to do the business, the Chinese and all that. But you see, when we make policies, those policies must genuinely help in making the economic structures work. The policies we do, and we leave the policies and we don't go strictly according to them.
For example,
if you say there is a forest area where they shouldn't do any Galamsey, it should be a no-go area.
Right.
You understand? But some powers could, flood the rules and allow the others from above, they go into those areas. You see, I've always been saying that the principle that govern our policies and laws, it must be effected the way it is. They are to structure the economy. They are to make the economy work. They are to make the processes of governance work. They are to make development work. If we don't do those things and we take it for granted, and some powers be, we'll all be going back and forth. We are not going to develop the country. And I believe that is what makes that the advanced country. We were talking about pollution, environmental degradation.
Yeah.
Even sanitation is a problem.
Yeah, and I think the report explicitly gave all of these and the kind of revenues we lose each year annually as a result of these, the air pollution and the likes, and even climate change, heavily affects us as a country, and the kind of money we lost.
Naturally, if you look at the rain pattern to these few days, these few months, the pattern has changed.
Changed drastically.
We were not prepared to be able to build a dam that can contain the rain, because we were not expecting it, and it spilled over all the places and destroying things. What did Mali people do? They did something beautiful. They tried to hold the water from upstream. They created gorges. They created dams for the waters to be settled in, and they use those waters in growing onion. And you remember, they are the people who are supplying us with these big onions in the market. Their land is drier than ours. We are having very fertile land.
They shouldn't have been growing at the onions.
Which we should be growing here. Like, for example, if you take the Anglogan stretch from Savietula to Keta, you realize that people are doing shallow farming. They are using the lagoon to water the shallows. They have pipes. They've dug a hole. The water table is very close, so they use it if it doesn't rain, how would they be able to do it? Because we need the rain, but we have not developed our waterways, the dams, and all those things. We could be farming the whole of the year.
I think that was the brain behind the one village, one dam initiative by the government.
You see, it's easier said than done. Ali Adinkud.
Right.
It is easier said than done. We are not taking the bull by the horn. We are not going according to what we say. If we really had done that the past 4 years, this rain that has come, we'll have bumper harvest of water all over the place, which could be turned into drinkable water in the north and the rest. These are natural resources. And we need, that's what I'm saying, that we need the brain of mechanization and technology to advance in managing these natural resources. And it's key, it's very important. Other than that, we are not going to really have a ground on our natural resources. There will be look, are you aware that in advanced countries, the sanitation issues, rubbish, all those things, when they are packed, there is a process, there's a selector. There's a machine that selects if it is paper, it goes differently. If it is container, it goes different. If it's rubber, it goes different.
It segregates
It segregates them. And then they are used for recycling and, other, even for energy purposes. The wind we have is a resource. We have very huge wind system in Ghana, which we can develop electricity out of it. We have not tapped it. We have Jatofa, which is used in producing fuel. We have not tapped into it. So we need to, we have to sit up as a country in so many ways.
And it will interest you to know that in the last 40 years, for example, floods affected 14 million people. And the 2015 flash flood in Accra, not to bring back bad memories, but cost $55 million in Ghana. Where are we going as a country if some of these things should be happening?
Yeah. Do you wait until the rain starts before you do? Look, we have regiments in Burma camp who are engineers. Let's use them. We have a unit that is responsible for engineering work, like construction of dam and all that. They are there. Government can use them, pay them what they will use they will give to some other institutions who charge government. The soldiers, they will do it perfectly. That is how come they are going out to be trained. So with their skill and experience, we need to use them. The engineers, even our roads, they will do it better. And if you see a military man trying to fix a system, like building of dam, he's not going to do the shoddy work. He will do it and do it well.
Yeah.
And we are not using them. Ghana, we have all the structures but the structures are not being put. That's what I said, that the policies we are making are good, but the policy implementation, we are failing it.
Has been the problem.
That's the problem. Look, if you see guys who are in the military, who are engineers, if government can mobilize them, when the water problem came, the drainage issue came, and they have to go to the north, the flood claim.
Yeah, the recent one.
Look at the way the soldiers were proactive.
Yeah.
They were proactive. And I will always say that we need the proactive leaders to move the country. We don't need reactive leaders. And we are sitting down saying that Ghana will pay. Look at the amount of money you are talking about. They should divide it into three and give that one third of it,
portion of it
to the military. They will do it. And they will do it excellently well. We've left our natural resources. We've left the silos that Nkrumah built at the time. We've left them at the mercy of the sun and water. And yet, we are having food insecurity. And you go to Carnation Industrial Area, you see it. You are sitting down there, you are telling yourself that the country, people are not being fed well and all that. We have, even University of Ghana is having university farm. Government will partner the university to expand the farm. I mean, for our abattoir and consumption. That's what I'm saying, that Ghana, we don't need anything new. Well, our structures are there. Let us effect it. That's all.
So is it the case that we've not had that visionary leaders who would help us implement some of these?
Sometimes people, you see, that is why I'm saying that Alia Dekund. Some will say something, some other things. People go into power with different mission and vision. I want to see a selfless leader, somebody who has come into governance and want things to be done for the citizen. Right. When the citizens are getting what they want to get, I don't think that the country cannot go forward. It will go forward. It's a circle. And I gave a lecture the other time. I said, when government made available industrialization and build those factories I'm talking about, like 4. If within 4 years you're having 4 factories, you don't buy presidential jet. Another president comes for 8 years' time. He doesn't buy presidential jet, but build another 4 factories. It's 8.
Right.
So what are we seeing? We are seeing growth. We are seeing reduction in unemployment, increase in income of the citizenry, increase in autonomous tasks, which is as a result revenue. That revenue we use to develop infrastructure and build on more.
Right.
Then we are seeing economic development. There will be a balance between the economic life of the people, which is called the standard of living, and the cost of living will be apart. And that will give Ghanaians the rest to be able to move the country forward and work hard. If you wake up in the morning, you don't have anything to do, what will you do?
Well, the devil finds it for the idea.
Yes, if you have no job to do, will you be sitting here?
No.
And this is part of production. You are giving service to the public. So the public view you and said, oh, this station A, B, C, D is doing very well. I want to advertise there. Then you get some income.
Right. Incomes
that are gotten, they pay you. Then you also go home and take care of your siblings.
Right.
So what is the meaning of that trend? That process is giving you growth. You may be interested to continue your education. You will be happy that you are getting some income, you continue your education. And don't forget, the human being as we are also part of the natural resources.
Yeah.
Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
You and I are part of the natural resources that God created on this earth. By virtue of that, you yourself must develop and be productive. And if you are not productive, you cannot be sitting here. So this whole growth we are talking about, it is from the individual to even the trees in the bush and animals living on earth. So if we don't research and do it well, we'll not get there. Why do we have scientific Center for Scientific Research, CSR? Then we'll go and take some white man from somewhere to come and do research for us.
Is it a case we don't believe in what we are capable of doing?
That's why I'm saying that We are not trusting our system. We ourselves, we don't trust our system. And when we don't trust our system, that is why we'll be importing the more.
When we should be doing more of the exporting.
More of the exporting. Because we don't trust the system. Look, somebody will put, you see the tie you are putting on. I gave an example on this platform.
Right.
The tie you are putting on is a local tie.
Right.
Somebody will say, oh, but this is not quality. What makes it quality is how we patronize it. We trust our own selves. That is what will make it valuable. But we have refused to do that. Appreciate what we have. And always we are dealing, yes, some functions you can look, I mean, some functions you deserve to be looking like European or whatever. But some place, sometimes, we need to go the local way. So that we encourage our people to also, that teller in the corner there, also to make some money. That is how come he can make a living. So we are part of the natural resources. Don't forget.
Human beings.
Human beings. And it's one of the biggest resources we have in Ghana. Now, look, Ghana has potential. I can agree with you that he has potential. There are people who are there. Look at Professor Alote, that mathematician. He was excellent. Look, there are more guys who are in the system who can change the wheel of time and make this country great and strong. But we are not giving the opportunity to those people. And some of our learned colleagues, some of our people who has expertise, they are not confident in the system to come out. When we are confident in our own system and we come out, and when you called me that I should come here, with my knowledge, if I didn't accept it, I'm not doing it for income, but I'm doing it for Mother Ghana. That people who are not aware
would be enlightened.
Will be enlightened. There, this moment I'm sharing is one of the values that we talk about. I trust Ghana. That's why I'm doing it.
Right.
And I want Ghana to go beyond where we are. That's why I'm doing it.
You're also contributing your quota by so doing.
Exactly. So come out. Let us all come out. If you have the expertise, come out. If you are a cameraman and you can uniquely do something extraordinary, which can make to promote this organization, don't wait for your boss to give you directly. Design it and show it to him.
Right.
And you are becoming productive. You are becoming great and strong. And the time will come, you are unique. Comrade Dumo, he did it and went down to BBC. Sure. And BBC acknowledged him.
Yeah.
That is a productive, centered person. In every sector, we can do it. So the resources are very important. We have to manage it. We have to develop it. We have to build capacity of those resources and develop this country, Ghana.
But it's just unfortunate that natural resources are overexploited and continue to reduce, decline in both quantity and quality. I don't know if you would agree with me.
Yes, I'm agreeing with you. I agree with you. That's why I'm saying that the capacity and development of this country will allow us to understand how to even to use the natural resources. Do you understand me?
Right.
There are beds that are specific for a specific purpose. There are beds that you can even send with letters or ring or something. We have to, that is in the tourism area. Right. We have to develop it. If you go to Legon Botanical Garden, there are snakes that they are rearing there. They are not just made belts, but the belts we put on, some of them are snake skins that they use for the belt.
Right.
How many factories do we have in Ghana that will recycle those things? And how to do it? I mean, we can do it. So I am saying that it is time not only to talk about it or make policy, but it is time to implement what we have, the skill we have, and develop the skill.
And that would also rake in more revenue for the country.
That's why I gave you the arithmetic, that economic development is as a result of increase in government industry or private partnership.
Yeah.
I mean, building more factories, increasing people's income, increasing technology, increasing capacity development, allowing people to bring out their knowledge.
Right.
That's it. That's the way we have to go.
The conversation is getting very interesting and very deeper.
It will.
And very enlightening.
It will.
But it's rather unfortunately that this is where time would permit us to have the conversation. I wish we had more time on our side so we could delve deeper into this. I mean, this is to help develop Mother Ghana. We all could contribute to Akota one way or the other by doing so. Thanks so much for coming. We do really appreciate it. I don't know if you would have any word or two to leave with our viewers.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is we need economic revolution, but not political revolution.
Right.
Thank you very much.
So that was Julius Kweku Kata. He's an international economist, a lecturer, and also a consultant fellow and a chartered economist. Thanks so much for being a part of this production, and thanks so much to all the production team members who made this a success. And you can trust us that the whole of this week we bring you nothing but the very best and top-notch production. Selassie Isaac Morty, McLean George, Lester. Alote, thanks so much for putting all of these together. Isaac to Political Babyface is my name. Tonight at 6 p.m., let's meet at the Springhouse Chapel International. Yes, for the Holy Convocation 2021. It's an annual program which is held every year at the Springhouse Chapel International. Makuko Photo Dance man. I'll be there, so let me see you there. Isaac to Political Babyface is my name. Thanks so much for being a part of this. We will meet tomorrow at 6 a.m. Have a lovely day.